Well, welcome back. Truth and Transparency is having you guys back for a little Friday night happy hour. This is an Idaho4 special. Steve and Kristi Goncalves with the train wreck of true crime. And I say that because she does not do true crime anymore. Her name is J, Everyday with J. J is for felons. J is for I was with her in Denver when she committed a federal crime. She violated the federal statute where you cannot mail yourself, illegal substances across state lines. Yeah. Well, we were on a business trip from a hotel that had people's names attached to that hotel, and where she just thought that she would go to the dispensary, buy a shit ton of weed, and then package it up and then send it in the mail in 2021. Send it in the mail. And I have the receipts. It was intercepted by, it didn't get to her house because she got a note that it was intercepted. Yeah. Who the hell would do something like that? I mean, talk about fiending. I gotta get all this weed and let me just send it to myself. She's amazing. There's nothing worse than a criminal's bad, but just dumb criminals. Yeah. Anyways, when I found out that she did that, that's when I parted ways and said, yeah, bye. Now, recently, again, you can't find much for J is for Justice on her channel with true crime because she's too busy with this Everyday with J channel. Where literally what she has done is she likes to just drag people, just make fun of people. Like, this is her channel. And I'm like, what? This is what she's doing now? It used to be called like the 411 with Jay. I mean, this is a woman. She's a grandma. Jay is a grandma. That she has no problem stealing people's work. Fuck, she stole Sleuthy Goosey's timeline, tried to slap her logo on it. She tried to steal WFLA's coverage of the Brian Laundrie shit. The cameras all over there. I mean, I sued the bitch. And guess what? She ran. I couldn't even get her process served because she was ducking service. Yeah. Yeah. The girl has changed her last name as many times as probably prom queens, have given blowjobs. Now, right here, this is her channel, Everyday with Jay. So you have to understand, when the Goncalves just came out yesterday and did an interview with her, in a 24-hour period, only 2,000 people have seen this. 2,000 people. Well, why? Because you did an interview with J is for Justice on her J is for Justice channel. Nobody watches that shit. She is literally she's a joke. She went to CrimeCon to literally stalk a 60-something-year-old woman. What? By yourself, you flew to CrimeCon to do what? To literally follow around a woman? Yeah. And this woman, not any woman, but it's the woman that runs Web Sleuths. Which, by the way, I think hopefully if you're in here, hello and welcome. If you're not and you catch us on replay, hello and welcome. Truth and Transparency. My name is Lana and I'll be your host tonight. I mean, I could not believe that she flew by herself for the purpose to use CrimeCon as a way to, film somebody and follow them around and try to make fun of them. I mean, how old are we? But this is the kicker, though. The Goncalves started a foundation, and that foundation is Murder Has a Name. And I think it's amazing. It's going to carry on Kaylee's legacy, okay? And if you hear the family talk about it, you're going to hear how if they can just help one family, it's like that just goes that, hey, Kaylee's death, this is what is coming from Kaylee's death. That's how I think they think of it. That's how I would be thinking of it as a parent, because I'd want to do something that my child could be remembered in a completely different way than her final moments, because it was awful. Well, guess who the Goncalveses are working with for that? None other than Othram, the middlemans. The middlemans. Guess who Jay for Justice has been going after for months? None other than Othram's right-hand person, Tricia, with Web Sleuths. So wait, let me get this straight. The Goncalveses sat down, their PR person, whoever the fuck it may be, thought that they should have Steve and Kristi sit down with Jay Jaros or Youngblood or whatever the fuck she's going by right now, with this person to interview them? Do you have any idea what this person, Jay, has been doing to your business partner's right-hand person? Well, I'm about to tell you all about it, because it's disgusting. Jay is for Justice is pure fucking trash, and y'all know it. Y'all don't even probably know her name because you follow true crime, and she doesn't cover true crime. So again, she has a channel Every Day with Jay, and it used to be the 411 with Jay. Her true crime channel is Jay is for Justice. The channel that she uses to drag the Web Sleuths owner, creator for years, Tricia, she uses this channel Every Day with Jay. Guess what channel she used to interview the Goncalveses on? Jay is for Justice. And the business partnership here with the Goncalveses and Othram, it's pretty crump tight. Very, very close. Like, we're talking like this. And they sat down with a woman that has accused Tricia, who's Othram's right-hand person, of flat out fucking murder. Jay is for Justice has just come out recently and tried to accuse the Web Sleuth, Tricia, that she committed a murder of one of her best friends. I mean, wild ass shit. Now, so I have no idea who is running PR for any of these people, but they need to be fired immediately. Okay, immediately. And you can't sit here and tell me that you went on Jay for Justice so that your word could get out, because nobody has fucking seen it. But because I respect the victims and I respect these families, I'm going to actually play and have commentary on this interview, because I want people to see it, because nobody is going to see it on Jay is for Justice, because nobody watches her shit. She fucking sucks. The girl doesn't even cover the Idaho4 case. She doesn't know shit about the case. She doesn't know shit about shit. The girl is a box of rocks. And I can say that because I dealt with her. She was going to be my camera bitch. Hey, yeah, come around and videotape shit, edit shit. That's what you're good with. There is not an original bone in that girl's body. Period. She sucks. So she has two channels. She uses one to literally drag human beings. And then she uses her other one with the human beings that she drags. Oh, let me go interview their business partners and say how, yeah, I'm all for victims. I'm all for this. I'm all for that. Bitch, you ain't for shit. And recently, like I told you guys, I tried to sue the bitch. She ran, scared little pussy ass bitch. She ran. I told her who her mommy and her daddy was. You can ask her about it. The return address that I put on there, I said, your daddy. Yep, that's how I filled that shit out. She thought that she would say, oh, Lana Epstein, a couple, I don't know, weeks or months ago in some broadcast that she did. Jay, shut the fuck up and get my name out of your motherfucking mouth, or trust me, I will fucking sue you again. Now, moving on. Here is this interview. And like I said, this is no knock to Steve or Kristi, but you should know who you're dealing with. And the person that you sat down with an interview for has literally been dragging your business partner's right-hand woman. And I have no idea how you did not know that. And you need to fire the people that you have around you. Okay? Send me a text, but I don't open up my mouth, but when I do have something to say, and it's beneficial for a lot of people. So here it is. Jay is for Justice did this interview with Steve and Kristi. And again, she did it on her true crime channel, which nobody watches. But I want to show you on her Jay Everyday with Jay channel, just so we can show you a little glimpse of what she's been doing. Here is Everyday with Jay. You see these titles like, who is Aspen Connor? Like, why are you talking about Aspen? I met Aspen in Delphi. Like, sit down, Jay. She goes to CrimeCon. Here, live from Caesars. She was on a list. She got flagged before she even entered the building. Why? Because she was reported. She got flagged. Look at this. Tampa going to Vegas by herself to go be a big creeper. Tricia's deposition. Like, what is this shit? She titles her.
She's the same age as my brother.
What?
Wow, Tricia. Wow.
What is wrong with you?
And it's a video.
What is this shit?
On camera.
It's called Tricia's deposition, deflection, drama, and tringo, like bingo. This is what she does for fucking 4 hours daily. This is what she does.
And if you could look,
she is playing bingo with a woman's deposition. What the fuck? This woman is the right hand to Othram, who's business partners with the Goncalveses, and who she just interviewed the Goncalveses while she's dragging daily the Othram's right hand person, Tricia, from Web Sleuths. Look at this shit. What is this shit? I mean, she gets high as a kite, smokes cigarettes on her screen, and just is like, here, running the grift checklist on Tricia's latest rant. And she just plays her videos or some shit. 4 hours and 24 minutes of what? What is this?
That sheets made, what was it, February 11th, did you say?
March
11th. Can you read that? This is Daryl Sheets on Facebook.
Can you read that?
Yeah.
Cyberbullied at school. I mean, it's not your normal teasing. It's relentless. And now with the internet and kids have power to do these horrible things to each other, it's terrible. And so there are a lot of stories and resources for kids, which is great.
So what's so wrong about this? Grift checklist? Borrow a real tragedy, expand the issue until it includes critics. This is insanity. This is crazy to me. Like, people are covering court cases for 5 hours a day. This is what Jay is doing for 5 hours a day. While she's holding up her 100,000 person plaque that she probably bought those subs. Don't fucking doubt it for a second. She's had so many scandals with her own channel. How is she even fucking on YouTube? Okay, but look at that. Why are you putting up your 100,000 plaque on a channel that you don't have 100,000 subscribers? That's what you call false advertising.
What?
She legit took Sleuthy Goosey's timeline off of Twitter, took the watermark off, and slapped and it acted like it was hers. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Like, what do you look at? What is this? Right? I mean, what the fuck? Who? The day that the day that I take vacation time to go follow around a 60-something-year-old. Yeah, no. I know 60-something-year-olds have followed me around and they've thrown a lot of money my way. But fuck, I mean, I don't even have words for this. But this has to be somehow financially stimulating and rewarding for her, because why the hell would you do any of this if it didn't make you any money? So you're getting paid to bully a 60-something-year-old woman online. That's amazing. Like, your parents must be so fucking proud of you. Just, there's just no words. I mean, this isn't adulting, okay? This is online bullying that you see every day with young little people. And here you have just an adult doing it. It's one thing to like, yep, crack jokes. Hey, oh my God, make a funny thing. I mean, when you have a dedicated channel, look at this. I mean, every day. Every day. Gifts and receipts, estate drama, past lawsuit. Like, what is this? 5 hours?
YouTube Live, however, this is my COVID year. And I'm not ashamed of it.
5 hour live on what? Who? What is this? She just replays her lives? She just literally just replays her lives all day?
I asked to be the administrator and to be named beneficiary to do that.
Wait,
Yeah.
You can read the dates. And
Read
it's
the
very
date. You will
simple.
see I asked to do that.
but she just said, I did not ask to be executor of that will.
Oh, please. Guys, I can't even, I'm going to put myself through hearing this voice. This voice. Oh, please give me, God, please let me be able to do this. That voice. Oh, okay. Oof. Here we go. Okay. 5 hours. 5 hours. Like I said, nobody does this if it ain't making them money. Okay. Okay. We don't talk politics here. Bye. All right. Let's go to the interview. So if you type in, so if you go from Everyday with Jay, then you actually type in J is for Justice. And you type in that and you go to that J is for Justice podcast. Let's see. It's a live, I believe. If you go under live, it was, here we go. 1 day ago it just says 1 day ago. And it's just like, here you go. Right there. Steve and Kristi Goncalves, the Kaylee Goncalves Foundation, and keeping her legacy alive, which I love.
Rainbow trout at the stock.
Okay. Here it is. I'm like, so many
down
people
there
should
the
have
weekend
seen
prior.
this. So many people should have seen this. No. 2.6K now. Amazing. So I'm like, well, why did they go on this channel? So, I mean, don't they want to get the word out? Well, this isn't going to get the word out. I don't know. This isn't going to get the word out going on her channel. Nobody watches her. So I'm like, hey, guess what? I'll show it on my channel. People watch here. People watch and follow the Idaho4 case. So, but she has 130 subscribers, 130,000 subscribers. You'd think that people, nope, because she's a drama channel now, I guess. And then the kicker of all this is that you should know who she's dragging while she's interviewing people's business partners. So the middleman's very close with Tricia. Othram and Web Sleuths are like sister companies. The Goncalves with Murder Has a Name, business partners with Othram now. Wait, they were interviewed by J is for Justice, who has been dragging for months. For months. The middleman's business partner? Tell me that ain't true. Oh, yeah, it's true. And so I think that everybody should know that. And if you don't want to be down with bullies, why would you ever be interviewed by a bully? If Brian Colbert is this big bully piece of shit, well, Jay is for Justice is a big fucking piece of shit who has been bullying for months a woman that we call a senior citizen in this country, a 60-plus-year-old woman who is business partners with your business partner. And so whoever's doing your PR sucks because you would have never sat down with this woman.
And being there until November.
Your whole family had everything in order. We've covered Idaho since it happened. We've watched all of the interviews and the frustrations, the, WTF is going on here. But first and foremost, I want to talk to you guys about your foundation. So why don't you tell me what was your inspiration mainly to create this foundation?
So obviously Kaylee, and everything kind of wound up.
What a question, Jay. Why did you start this foundation? Their daughter was murdered. Okay.
Ending very, very
Inspiration.
What inspired you to do this? Oh, the murder of their daughter? I mean, are you fucking dumb? I mean, I know you're dumb. What inspired you?
Mainly
It's going to be so easy to make this broad look so stupid, by the way. And I'm here for it.
Create this foundation.
So obviously Kaylee, and everything kind of wound up ending very, very fast last year with the plea deal and then the sentencing. I mean, it was like bam, bam. And we had really planned on going to trial. We had a house rented down there. We were expecting, August 16th to be starting and moving down there the weekend prior and being there until November.
Your whole family had everything in order to go.
Yep, so did we.
Oh.
And
did you, Jay? No, I was saving my money for Vegas for me to go follow around a 60-something-year-old woman and hunt her down, like stalk her. I got flagged at the fucking casino for it. Like, what? Winning.
It all just ended abruptly.
It did, and that's horrible for them. That should have never happened that way. We all know that.
And a week after the sentencing, our daughter, our youngest daughter, the baby, was going off to college. And not just U of I like the other kids, 2 hours away. It was like, bye, kids. We'll see you next weekend. This is to Texas, deep, deep Texas. And I had been so wrapped up with the trial and everything happening with the case that all of a sudden Aubrey leaving just crashed on me big time, hard. And
Texas, where Othram's located, Texas, Othram, Othram, Tricia, the woman that you bully, Jay, they're all business partners. Yeah. She's like, oh yeah. Yeah. How much shit have you talked? Have you talked shit about Tricia to the Goncalveses, or has that not happened yet? I'm going to make sure it doesn't happen.
I had a good friend that I met through the our Goncalves family page, Tracy Brocco. And I told her, I said, I'm worried about my mental health. Like I'm worried, I'm really worried. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. And she said, let's start a foundation. And I was like, there's no way. Like, I would love to, but we had looked into it.
It sounds overwhelming, huh? I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah, it does for Jay. Jay can't even focus for 2 seconds. So it would be very overwhelming for her. She has no organizational skills.
And we had looked into it previously, like earlier on. And there's a lot to starting foundation. It's not just like, boom, just like a business, anybody that's opened a business. There's a lot, and it costs a lot of money. And I'm like, look, I am just a mom from Idaho. Like, I don't think I have these capabilities.
You understand that when you say I'm just a mom, that's being like, I mean, Jennifer McCabe is being like harassed for saying like, we're just moms here. Like we've never been through anything like this. Oh, just moms, huh? I mean, but think about it. Everybody would say that, and anybody would say that. And Kristi's in the right for saying that. We're just moms. I'm just a mom. She's not wrong. But God forbid Jennifer McCabe say that.
And she was like, oh, yes, we do. I'm just a mom from North Carolina. She had some law enforcement background. And she's like, we're going to do it. And everything I had a no for, she had a yes for. And next thing I know, we started working on a foundation. And it started
That's
like,
awesome.
what are we going to do?
And it is awesome. You know why? It also keeps you busy. It also gives you purpose. And it's really, really important, because I don't ever want to know what it feels like to lose a child, especially in that type of a way, and to bury a child. Can't imagine. I do not want to imagine that. But I would think anything for me not to feel that, think about that, would be a great day.
And so this started back in like August, and at first we're like, what would Kaylee want? We actually talked to Tanya Brown, Nicole Brown's sister.
Did you really? Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. She's a great friend. She is amazing person. Amazing.
Nice.
And Tanya was like, you know what? This isn't what you want to do. This is what Kaylee would want. What would Kaylee want? And I kept going to bed thinking, and I'm like, that's just hard to get into Kaylee's head and her mind, when you don't have her to talk to.
Right.
So I started thinking, maybe something with animals. I know Kaylee loved animals. And, Tracy's husband was like, I think this is a great idea, girls, but there's a lot of things out there for animals, and I just don't know if that, so we started floating around with other things. And then we really started thinking about like the IgG that solved.
Ooh, IgG. All the shit talking you've done, Jay, on Othram. All the shit talking you've done on Othram. Shame on you, bitch. That you had the fuck to interview these people and them not know what the fuck you have been doing for months to Othram, to Tricia. This is the biggest slap in the face. And there's no way that they could have known about this. No way.
This case and how things get funded and whatnot. And
Kaylee was very much into true crime.
She was
a huge proponent of it. And she was an active participant. She even called 911 for people that she's seen that were missing.
There was
I
an old
remember
lady
that
that was missing in our town, and she was watching the news, and she was down in Moscow. And there's even a report about it. And Kaylee's like, Mom, I think this lady, and they think she just got confused is what happened. But unfortunately, she did die.
But she was aware. And
yes.
And
she's like, Mom, I really think it's her. And I'm like, then if you think it's her, you need to call. And she's like, the vehicle's the same and everything. So, she was. And so that kind of started like, pressing on us and whatnot. And then we started, Tracy started connecting us with all kinds of people. We're talking to the Golden State Killer prosecutor.
Yeah, Jay's like, let's all talk about this Othram stuff.
Things that were missing out there. There was funding problems. That there was a lot of cases that are just sitting waiting.
And that is a problem, the funding of it. Okay, because that's like you see those cases where you can you see people like trying to raise money, and it's so that this case can get tested with DNA, like DNA testing.
So we had a Zoom with the board members, and we were like this into a lot of people, and we thought of this, and then we were like, well, what are we going to name it? So we had a Zoom with the board members, and we were like this, that. We were chat GPT, this. And Tracy, of course, Tracy says, murder has a name. And we were all like, I like that.
I like it too.
Like, so it works for anything. Murder has a name, and in your story, it might be Jimmy. Murder has a name, and in our story, it's Kaylee, and that's why
I think it's a great name. I think that they nailed it. And I love how the logo, whoever did that, kudos. I guarantee you the person that did the logo is not the person that's their PR person who told them to come on this channel. Okay, because that is awesome. It's roots, right? The leaves with the fingers, with the fingerprints. I mean, just chef's kiss, hands down. Amazing.
Kaylee Goncalves Foundation doing business as Murder Has a Name. So, and that's so victims their names get forgotten,
For sure.
These killers, everybody knows Ted Bundy. Everybody knows John Wayne Gacy, BTK, but do you know a single victim of his?
Right.
It's very sad, but I know one Ted Bundy victim, and that's Kathy Kleiner, and that's because
Okay, and so this is why I did this. If you guys go ahead and look at my channel, any episode that I do that involves this case, it's not Brian Colbert or whatever. Okay, it is Idaho4 / and then whatever it is my topic, because that was I can't put a title with every name, okay, first and last name of the victims. But what I can do is say, you know, this is my coverage of the Idaho4 case. This is not my Brian Kohlberger coverage. And that was really important for me and to me. And so if you go and you can go check out my shit, and there is every single one of my episodes, it's Idaho4 / whatever I'm talking about. And people that took umbrage with the victims being dubbed the Idaho4, well, would you rather have it be Brian Kohlberger? Think about that. And she's proving my point right here. Kristi is proving my point. No, you would never. I want you to know their names.
I know her now. And that is the only reason why I know Kathy Kleiner's name.
I mean, it's very true. Like, we don't know their names of all the girls that were murdered when he broke into the sorority house. Like,
but you could show a picture of Ted Bundy and people say that's Ted Bundy. You could show a picture of like, I don't know.
I know what you mean. I'm telling you, this case has changed the way that I look at true crime. Like, I used to like think, oh, I want to go to that museum. But now I kind of look at those things with a different lens. I'm like, it's kind of creepy, you know?
Wait, what? You went to CrimeCon to stalk another person. You don't think anything's creepy because you actually physically are the creeper. A museum of true crime, whatever the fuck you're talking about here, isn't creepy. You to creep. You paid money for a plane ticket, a hotel ticket, or a hotel room. Went by your fucking self, man. Woo! Friends for life. Whoa. To go literally stalk a 60-something-year-old woman. I fucking love it for you, Jay. Your life must suck. And it couldn't have happened to a better fucking person.
Like, it's just, I don't know. It just, I think times have changed a little bit for some of us where, you know, the serial killer t-shirts and stuff aren't funny anymore.
Yeah. And, you know, it never bothered.
Serial killer t-shirts just aren't funny anymore. Who ever thought that they were funny? The fuck are you talking about? Speak for yourself. Who?
Me before, so I'm with you on that. Like, I don't think I would have done a museum, but like if somebody walked by wearing a Ted Bundy shirt, I would have been like, whatever. Now I'd literally be like, you are disgusting. You know? Like,
yeah, I mean, I said to my audience one time, like, could you imagine wearing a shirt with Brian Kohlberger on it? Like, hell no. You know, it just puts it in a today's frame, I think, because
you could, Jay. What? Can you imagine wearing a shirt with Brian Kohlberger's picture on it? How does that even become a question?
Bundy happened so long ago. Some of us weren't even born, or we were really little, and it didn't really affect us like that as a society type thing. But this certainly did. Certainly did. I mean, you can't get any more scary. Like you said, the freaking boogeyman.
Straight up.
Just being safe in your bed, doing all the right things, and this happens. So it was very, very eye-opening.
Nightmares are literally made of. What happened to my daughter and her friends that night is what
it's unthinkable, man. It's unthinkable. You couldn't even write a story about that. Like, it's.
And they probably will eventually do a story, but when you combine the 23 times that he pinged off there was incidents where the girl said that Murphy went running out the backyard and went after somebody. The girl swore that they seen somebody up in these tree lines. So they've been stalked. They might not have been able to prove it, or they were saving that for the FBI to actually pick those charges up. But
I saw all of those
being
hunted
by a killer. You know?
Yeah, I mean, we read that.
Yeah.
What did you see a lot of, Jay? Wait, what? Because none of what they're saying can be proved. But wait, what did you think that you saw that you say that you saw? The 23, there's no, it's cell tower, and it's over a 5-mile radius. You guys know how fucking like 5 miles is? The facts.
The roommate's accounts of saying, you know, a couple of weeks ago, Kaylee said that she thought somebody was in the backyard. It's like, no, we can't ever prove it's him. But I believe that it most likely was.
Jack had heard about it multiple different times.
Jack had, Kaylee had mentioned things to Jack, you know, like.
She'd come home on the weekends and she told us about some of the events. So we were definitely, it all started coming back when this.
So this is exactly the complete opposite of what Brian Enton and Ashley Banfield, when Brian Enton says, yeah, I talked to Steve and there is no stalking. Kaylee never mentioned any stalking incidences. So I know Jules likes to go ham on the Goncalves family, so I can only imagine what she is saying about that right now. But I'll just leave it as this. You know, the parents are always going to get a pass for me. What Bill Thompson and these investigators in this case have put these parents through, that's why they get that pass. They earn that pass. Their kids were murdered and they buried their children. Okay. The only people that they could ever hope to believe in and they're are not lying to them would be investigators. But that's just not the truth. These people have been lied to. Lied to. I think maybe the only people that haven't lied to them might be the middlemans. So
This happened, and we're
but these investigators did a shitty job, and the plea deal was offered by the prosecutor because of their shitty job. But they knew that they did this shitty job the entire time. So how can you just string along families for 3 years and do this to them? How? They should be fired because they're going to do it to another family. And that's where the accountability level that I want to see, because we shouldn't be out here violating people's rights, and we should not be lying to people's parents when their kids are murdered. Sorry. We just should not be doing those things. It's a character flaw for me. And you're supposed to be hiring amazing character, people that have exemplary character traits. And how these people are becoming police officers and these fucking people become FBI agents is beyond me. But lying in affidavits, violating our rights, it's not okay. It's not okay. And that's what keeps a case never going to go away. This case is never going to go away. That's why I wanted to go to trial. Look at what happened with the Chris Watts case. Come on, man. People still talk about that case to this day. This case, though, is like 100 times the level of that case.
giving that information to the police. So
were you guys alarmed at all before this happened about the little incidents, or were you just like, oh, it's this weird campus stuff?
There was one situation. There was like the Winco. I don't know if you about the Winco, the grocery store situation. Mm-hmm. And that did concern me. And I did tell Kaylee. She called me and was like, I need to talk to you. Like, Mom, this just happened. This guy followed me around in the store. I was conscious of it. And then he followed me out to my car. I'm sitting in my car now, like my car.
She called you right away.
Yes,
so
and she was with Bethany, and Bethany waited in the car, and she's like, and I'm like, well, your cars are locked, right? This and that, and I'm like,
wow. She literally was situational aware enough that she went.
I've never heard that story. That's new.
Went to the checkout because it had a camera.
The self checkout.
Did she really?
Camera, yeah. So she in How to Kill People. He studied it for years.
Yep. How to not leave DNA behind.
Yep. But all the other incidents that are like in the police report.
Okay, I'm going to speak on that. As a criminal justice background, you guys know how many people go through the criminal justice programs of all these different colleges? Okay. So, I mean, going to school and what your focus is not what created this. Sorry. So, otherwise we'd have a lot more fucking killers out there. CJ Majors. Sorry, but we would.
Reports that the roommates mentioned, that Jack mentions and things like that. She actually had not, which is very surprising, mentioned that stuff to me. Like, the tree thing, seeing Murphy. She did say something about Murphy taking off, and which she did not do. And she literally had to get in her car and like go try to find him. And
that's freaky.
Yeah. And she's like, she felt like, Mom, I literally think like somebody might have had him.
Yeah, Murphy was protected.
And I was like,
he did have a big
like maybe he had treats or something, and getting the dog to recognize them or something.
He grabbed it.
I mean, this is all new. What we're hearing right here about Kaylee needing to drive around and look for Murphy with a vehicle. When have you guys heard that story? I haven't heard that story. Maybe Bethany or Dylan took the dog. They had to play jokes on each other.
Oh, we don't even know, but she was just like, I think somebody had him, Mom. Like, I do. Like, Murphy never does that. And I'm like, I don't know, Kaylee. Like, nobody had him. He was just running off, So, in hindsight,
it's weird.
Mind, your mind needs to put it out.
Gosh.
Yeah. So
that's why we're frustrated when they say that there's no truth to any stalking events or anything. We're like, I don't feel comfortable with you guys saying that, especially when you know about Winco and there is some truth to something. It started getting into preventative, like they were basically trying to poo-poo certain parts that would be bad for the business. And once we started,
for the university,
yes.
Yeah, that's why I love Kristi. I love her because she's like, no more of this funny business with words, Steve. Kristi gets props right there. Call it out, baby girl. Yes, mama. The university. It's all about their motherfucking money. They chose this entire time, once those murders happened, the university, both WSU and Idaho, which, by the way, we do have we've merged Idaho and Washington. They are now one state. But their universities were above all, and they were not going to lose an ounce of revenue. And when you put the school on top, you're putting all the mom and pop places on top. You're putting every business owner on top of what we should be doing to solve and doing it the right way to solve a quadruple homicide on our campus. And it was never handled that way. Do you guys know that every single person was in a gag order? Every single person. When they arrested Brian Culver, right? Gag order put in place. Guess who was not gagged? Guess who could do and say whatever they wanted? The university. In fact, they wrote a book. During the prosecution of Brian Culver, Coomer Scott Green, and all these other little cohorts that they have in their little, round table, Blaine Eccles, all these people that were privy to everything in that investigation wrote a fucking book. How was that not a violation? How was anybody that would have been involved in that command center not thrown the label of, yeah, if you know something, like you can't do anything. You can't say anything. You're supposed to keep it to yourself, because how the hell did they allow the University of Idaho, the president, to put out a manual that they think that they know this manual? You guys sucked. You sucked. Okay. In 2024, get out of here. That's crazy. When you actually sit back and you take a step back and you truly think about it. And you want to talk about who could be the potential leak provider? Go to those little cohorts right there. They're the ones that had all that information too. They were told everything on day one, and they were involved in every single presser. They had to be updated because we have to let the students know what's going on. It's pretty crazy when you actually take a step back and you think about it. When you think about our right to a fair trial, nope, Brian Culver didn't have a chance to have a fair trial. And that does not say that I'm supporting his innocence or guilt. I'm supporting all of our rights. And that's what this channel is about. We have constitutional rights, and we don't give them up for anybody. Because the day that you start giving up your constitutional right, do you want to go and live in some of these other countries? Do you have any idea how amazing it is where we live? I love where we live. I love our liberties. I love our freedoms. And I fight for what we have. I don't hide behind them either. Freedom of speech is not what Turtle Boy's been doing. He's violated the Massachusetts statutes, and he will become a felon, and he will serve prison time, as he should.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I feel like none of those businesses wanted to be known as the killer came here, or this is where they congregated, or he was seen here, or anything like that. It seems like they wanted to distance from that immediately. And I think that made it harder to figure out what the hell went on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are back to the foundation, what are some of your first goals for the foundation? What are you looking to accomplish first? Are you fundraising to get to a certain...
So right now, we are 100% fundraising. We're reaching out. We have meetings all the time. I mean, our Zooms are like crazy. Mine and Tracy's. We're just working.
And you met her on your page?
Tracy?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she's our executive director.
That's really cool.
Under the board, yes. And I mean, she's my right hand.
Well, this executive director totally failed here. And I'm going to give Tracy a call, and I'm going to let her know. I'm going to send Tracy 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, every single fucking video that J for Justice dragged Tricia in. And I'm going to say, how in the world are you allowing Steve and Kristi to go on somebody's platform who has been adult bullying, cyberbullying, which is a fucking federal crime, stalking, using digital devices to monitor somebody is against the fucking law. And this bitch, J is for Justice, is doing it to your business partner's partner. It's disgusting.
Lady,
Her
and
husband's ex-law enforcement too.
Tracy,
So-
I don't know
Got a
about
long
it.
background in that.
Very
So-
nice.
great family. And so we are constantly trying to, connect ourselves with people that can help us, that can help promote us, that we could do something for them and they can do something for us. We don't want to just take, but we are fundraising right now. And then, cases, IGG, this advanced forensic technology that we're also focusing on, not just IGG. It is not,
Guess what we're going to do? We're going to pick one of the cases and we're going to fundraise for our own through them so that we can solve a case here at Truth and Transparency. That's our way to donate to, and not even just, it's not donating. How I look at it is that's a way to be a part of something. That's why I started Fight for a Family, because the crowdsourcing and the ability that you have, talk about like a hobby that you'd want to take on, or people that like to follow true crime. People are so talented in this community. And wouldn't you rather have 90,000 eyes on something than a pair with just these two researchers in a room? You guys know how many cold cases there are? Jay for Justice went out of her way to defame my nonprofit that I started and fucking lied about it. This bitch lied her fucking ass off. And all I wanted to do was to be able to help people the same way that Steve and Kristi wanted to help people. How I wanted to do it is to do it through the public defender's office, because these people are so overworked. They need people like you and me that could help in a case and can get through a ton of material and set up AI programs that could sift through a ton of material to help people that should be afforded a defense, but because of money, they're not getting it. And because your public defender's overworked, they're not writing the motions to get the money. And this bitch was so jealous of what I started to help people. No different than what Kaylee's parents are doing. In my fight was to help the families, because the families here together, if we all gave $1, okay, and you utilize our time to like look into stuff, if we could get stuff to be through the Freedom of Information Act, through public requests, if we can get this material out so that people can sift through it, I'm telling you, we could do some damage. And that it is just disgusting to sit here and watch Jay for Justice doing an interview when she doesn't believe in any of this. This bitch doesn't believe in any of it. So what we're going to do here is, when they have everything up and running and there's certain cases where you raise $6,000 or you raise $5,000, and when we get to that mark, then that kit can be tested. We can start working on X, Y, and Z. Yeah. But also, I want to know that kit, whatever. I want to know the case that it goes with. Because IGG is always supposed to be like the last layer that you go to. I guarantee you those officers that actually did the case suck just like anybody else. Why it's a cold case. How can we get our hands on that part of it? Can we tag team it both ways? So you think that Jay for Justice would ever do something like that? Fuck no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not today. Not today.
it is not cheap, So once we
Right.
get enough money,
We could sponsor a case,
Yeah.
and then we're hoping to
Yeah.
resolve a case, or at least they've got a list of 6 suspects. They can use the genetics to limit that down to maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And these are the partnerships that I'm looking at the support page, but
These partnerships that she's about to speak of, she's about to get into it. These partnerships is hold on, let me show you something. These partnerships is with Othram. So let's see how Jay's trying to dig in and wants to talk about Othram. Let's see how quickly she tries to get to that with these partnerships.
on the partnerships page, you guys have a lot of labs that
yes,
you're partnered with. So
yes.
are you working directly with the lab, and then the lab, or you're working with law enforcement? Like, how does that work?
So there will be no chain of custody with us. It will be a law enforcement agency will be getting in touch with us. And we have these labs that we're associated with, that we're partnered with, and then we will they will submit an application to make sure that they have done everything they can do to exhaust their leads, their funds, their resources. And then that's when we would come in and we would say, these are our labs. They're all across America, all of them. They're the best of the best.
And we're hoping they're already have some kind of association with those labs.
Most of the labs say,
contracts can be honored. And
a lot of these I've heard of,
Yes, and some of them are good with this. Some of them are good with this.
Some are on the East Coast,
hair.
All right, here we go. Because I wanted to get to the right part so I could do this.
Some are on the West Coast, some are in the South.
So
there's more crime, unfortunately, than there is labs processing.
Yeah.
So
There are.
and some of them do certain testing. Some can only. There's a few that we know that do hair with
bones.
follicles.
Yep. Now, let me show you what Jay did. And she directly, this is what she did. Jay completely just went ahead and said, let me just, spit in the face of their business partner. Ready? So this is Jay and one of her followers spitting on the Othram sign leading to their booth at CrimeCon. You guys want to see this? Yeah, I want to see this. Wait, Lana, what'd you just say? Yeah, exactly what I just said. Here you go. I'm going to play this for you. Here is Jay is for Justice and one of her followers at CrimeCon going into the area where the booth is. This is Jay is for Justice at CrimeCon spitting on Othram's fucking sign. Okay. What? Okay, Lana. Show me that shit. Show me that smile. Here we go. Jay is for Justice and her follower.
And they were like,
oh shit, bust it. I know.
I don't care about these. Film me all day.
Okay, so this is the Othram booth.
Here we go. I just remember.
So she's in socks.
Here we go. Ready?
Fucking cute she is.
Are you wearing Metas? I don't think you're allowed to wear those in here.
What'd you guys just get done doing? Rex? Was it good?
It wasn't.
Was it? Did you?
So this is Jay after the fact talking about stuff that she did, but this is Jay physically there with this follower.
Fall in love with him all over again? He's so handsome.
I'm such an asshole.
Thank you.
Yeah, you are. I'm such an asshole.
So much cooler. Oh my god.
Oh, is it hot down here now?
It's hot as fuck. But what's new?
Okay, so okay, chat, where are we going, chat?
So we're leaving. I'm taking them through the aisle.
Where are we going, chat? Fucking love her.
What an idiot.
Chat, where are we going, chat?
This is what she got in trouble for. Where are we going, chat? We're going to Othram.
We're leaving. I'm taking them through the aisle.
Show them, do you want to walk behind me and show them how people will watch me and film me?
Sure. Have you? Oh, I just saw them.
Yeah.
They're over there, though.
I don't want it. I just
What's going on this? Okay, so guys, here's off.
Here we go.
Hey, thank you, Martino, for the jewels. Okay, so this is where Louise gets his fucking screenshot from.
Let me tell you, chat. So when I find people filming me,
who was filming you?
And I go, I saw someone filming me straight up. I went, I see you filming me. And
that's it. I see you filming me. This is what Louise came up to her for. Dude, she's so much fun, Jazz. She really is. I mean, she's a light.
A light.
She is a light. That's how I can describe Christina. She's a freaking light.
Right. Like, watch this light. Watch what this light does.
And Lauren wants to dim her light. She's been wanting to dim her light for a long time. She hasn't. She didn't take her light away because we had fun.
and I go, I saw someone filming me straight up. I went, I see you filming me. And they were like,
oh shit, bust it. I know.
I don't care about being filmed. Film me all day.
Okay, so this is the Othram booth, right?
Oh.
Yesterday they told me it's the
Did you see that? Did you see that woman just come into the screen and go like this? Here she comes. Right here. Take a look.
Yesterday they told me it's the vintage food. America. Oh, God.
They just spit. Or if you want to say, well, Anna, she just made the sign. Made it look like she was spitting. She literally went there to talk shit about Othram. That's all she talks shit about. She has this fucking pig, 2 pigs in a pea, pigs in a pod, pigs in a fucking pen. Literally, who the hell, whatever, like think about this. If you're a movie producer or you make music and you get to go like Crime Con for someone that's like a creator, it's like the Emmys, or it could be like the Emmys, the Grammys, the Oscars, right? Where everybody is supposed to be coming together, the people that enjoy, watching it or being a part of it, and the people that produce things, the people that are creators, all these great things. And can you imagine people that would be getting awards or could be up for an award going and spitting all over the red carpet, spitting on signs of other people that are going to be nominated or something like that? I mean, this is pig level. This is J is for Justice. And literally, she just did this a couple weeks ago. And why do you think she wants to interview the Goncalves family? Why? She has no interest in any of this shit. She has an interest in something, though. She has an interest in something. And she tries in every way possible to get into the intricacies of, hey, I'm going to try to make this Tricia woman's life hell. She's tried everything possible to get this woman, like, just ruin her life, which would mean, hey, let's just go ahead and break up the whole Othram and web sleuth shit. Let's have, the middlemen's and basically say, bye, Tricia. J is for Justice accused Tricia of murder a couple months ago. Murder. J is for Justice hates Tricia because Tricia exercised her First Amendment right. Her First Amendment right is she can put anybody she wants on her platform. I can put anybody I want on my platform. J is for Justice doesn't know she has the worst receipts ever. And trust me, Jay, I'm about to own your ass with what you've done to that woman, because I'm about to show all this shit that you've lied about. Because I got some free time on my hands. Because I just got some amazing news. So I got more time that freed up because something that I was working on, cha-ching, I thought I was going to have to work on it more. Nope. It was already accepted. I was like, fuck, hey, this is amazing. But J is for Justice right here spitting or filming one of her followers who she's with spitting on Othram's sign. The partners up with the Goncalves family.
Okay, so this is the Othram booth, right? Yesterday they told me it's the vintage food. America. Oh, God bless.
Like, God bless America. God bless what, Jay? God bless your fat fucking ass, bitch. Shut the fuck up. Kiss your own ass, girl, because nobody's getting up in that ass. So here, going back to this interview.
So you want to have all these
fluids,
partnerships. So if you get the right case and they're like, well,
some are IgG.
You have all these different resources.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So then,
Nice.
our most of the law enforcement will be familiar with our labs, and they'll choose one, or we will have a discussion with them to say, look,
Who would be the best fit?
This is the evidence they have. Who would be the best fit?
You can kind of consult and find out who would be. Yeah. So are you adding more labs to the list, or is this
because she wants to talk about Othram? Are there any more labs on here? Like, come on, let's talk about Othram.
We
working
have
in
another
progress?
one that we just teamed up with, Estrella. I don't think they're on there yet. We just signed with them on Monday.
Australia. Wait till you hear about that one.
Not signed. We partnered with them on Monday.
Yeah, not signed. We partnered. And I love, God, this is why I love Kristi. Like, yeah, any other ones? What other ones? What do you want her to say, Jay? You want her to say so bad you want her to talk about Othram. You're a pathetic fuck. And that's why only 2,000 people turned into this bullshit. Not because of them, because of you. You suck. Nobody watches you. And this interview would be seen by hundreds of thousands of people by now if you didn't suck in your platform.
So Astria, which is another huge one, they could do a hair with no follicle.
Which is brand new technology.
That's pretty phenomenal there.
So think of all the past cases where there were hair and they used a little bit of it and they're like, there's nothing we can do. There's no follicle. Well, now somebody needs to go back to that investigator and say there's a lab that can now do that case that you weren't able to do anything. So that's why we're really trying to empower the true crime. We're trying to get the true crime rallied around actually helping families get justice and being a part of that justice $1 at a time. And then you're not doing it because you have this ghoulish fantasy or you're just trying to think that you can, protect yourself better. You're actually making a difference in the world. And then you're going to CrimeCon and saying, these 4 cases, I was a part of those. I funded that.
Yeah. And we want to be very clear that we are not solving anything. That's law enforcement. They're doing the work. And then the labs are doing the forensics.
You're just assisting in the process of the testing of the DNA.
There's a gap right now, just like the hair example I gave you, where there's years and years worth of cases where if you had a hair with no follicle, there's nothing you can do. Well, now there is something you can do, but there's no budget there because.
You know what sucks, Steve, is that you're talking to somebody. Look at her, deer in headlights. She has no fucking clue what you're even speaking about. None. No idea. Look at her. Can we talk about all of them? Can we talk about Tricia? She just wants to cream her pants to talk about the 60-something-year-old woman.
They're too busy with court cases.
Yeah, they're behind on just blood ones, let alone they're going to get to hair.
Wow.
Wow. Oh, my God. Wow. That's what she has to offer. Wow. Wow.
It makes such a difference for so many cases.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Can it? Wow.
That's what we believe. That's
wow.
what we found from the inside looking out.
Just to go back just a little bit, another thing that really hit us with this case, with Murder Has a Name, is our 7 weeks of not knowing who did this to our daughter. It was it's been hard since we lost Kaylee, hands down, and Maddie, hands down, of course. But the 7 weeks of not knowing, almost, I literally think it almost killed me, and
imagine.
And they don't want anybody else to feel that way.
And just to think that we could play a small part in getting somebody an answer, like when we got that phone call that night from our attorney.
Then they have to, but guess what, guys? Guess what? The policy has to change because you're not supposed to do anything to do with IGG until every exhaustive investigative lead is exhausted. And so guess what? Kristi and Steve are helpless in that because if you go based off of the DOJ interim policy, think about this, 7 weeks, you guys would have waited. A lot longer than that, right? So something needs to change, right? And we need to put cameras in these labs. Okay, just like officers are going to be wearing body-worn cameras, right? Labs need to be cammed up. If FedEx can do a lot of digital tracking, right? Why can't the law enforcement get on pace with how FedEx does their shit when you want to talk about transporting things? I'm just saying.
And said they made an arrest. This is his name. This is your person.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's already apprehended. He's in, Pennsylvania. That just changed everything. I mean, we had a little glimmer of hope at that point, obviously. It was still early on. We were still.
See, if you knew anything, Jay, you would say, how did you guys were screaming from the rooftops on December 1st to go and do familial DNA to do basically the IGG. So you're saying that nobody had talked to you guys prior to that? Like that just came on your own? You guys just thought of that on your own to come out and do an interview with Fox? As early as like, I don't know, November 29th, December 1st.
Dealing with horrendous things during that time.
There's families that have gone
years,
decades with no more hope. They've just given up. They're like, I just have hair. If we would have had DNA in our case, we'll go back to that example. I might be like that family, but all we had was hair on the shirt or hair mixed with our daughter's blood. Then now they can go back and now they can say, well, there's somebody here, this family, this organization will help me. And now they have hope. and now they'll get involved, and hopefully that we want to turn victims into prosecutors, really. So we're all prosecuting on the behalf of our kids, and we're not just waiting for somebody to do it for us.
We're just not waiting for it to happen again, right? And for them to get caught because they commit another crime, right? That's the big part.
Actively saying, hey, if you're not going to do it, I'll go find a group that'll help us get this done. And then we hope, and we've heard even from some law enforcement, I wish I had that option. If I could go and say I have 4 things that I need to get samples on, they'll tell me maybe I get 1. But if I can go and say I have this organization that'll pick up the other 3, then they'll say, well, okay, we'll do 2, and then they do 2. It just gives these officers, these investigators,
Gives them more.
Well, how about this? Why don't we start talking about the federal money? The federal money. The federal money is going to people's salaries, but like, why are we paying for people to just walk around a campus and write up minors in possession for $79 an hour for 4 hours for some plainclothes operation right outside of the house where people are murdered? You're giving away money for grants, but the money could be spent on like what Steve's talking about. And it's just, hey, we're giving you this money so you can find ways to pay people more for them to make, overtime hours. That's what they did with their grant money. That's embarrassing, and Idaho should be ashamed of themselves. And that's just with one of the grants that I've been able to uncover. We're going to go through every single grant, Idaho, so get ready. Because I'm going to pin your tits and dicks to the wall.
Room, yeah.
Gives them more room and gives them, and
I love that.
The taxpayers' bill. We're picking up the taxpayers' bill, so it's a no-brainer. No one loses.
And it depends on the agency. Some agencies have a lot more.
Already said, I know of a certain family I'd like to submit, but
That's all you got. That's all you got.
But it's
not every case has forensic DNA left. I mean, we would. So, we thought,
Look at Jay.
And this is kind of stuff that people did for us.
Washing his hands and saying,
so yeah,
I did the bare minimum. I did, because this guy's going to go talk to the media and make me look like an idiot. So I might as well do something and save a little bit of the community thinking that I'm a jerk. So he did the bare minimum, like he always does. And,
whose stomach is growling, Jay? Is that you? Is that a dog? Jay, what are you doing?
The media make me look like an idiot. So I might as well do something and save a little bit of the community thinking that I'm a jerk. So he did the bare minimum, like he always does.
Did you guys just hear that, or is that just me? Oh my God, Jay. Jay, do you have like a dog on your lap? Are you farting? Did you just shit your pants, Jay? The fuck you didn't. The fuck you didn't, Jay. Look at her. You guys, I told you I was in a Friday Farts with Jay.
Because this guy's going to go talk to the media and make me look like an idiot. So I might as well do something and save a little bit of the community thinking that I'm a jerk. So he did the bare minimum, like he always does. And,
and it's just, and so it's not like we got that.
Oh God, she's like, I should have had that food earlier. Fuck shit. My stomach is on fire. You guys heard it, right? It's Kristi's dog. No, it's not. Don't fucking let Jay have a pass like that. Excuse me. I'm so sorry, Goncalves. I just had that KFC, that mashed potato bowl, to die for. Yep, I was eating it and thinking about Tricia. Oh, have I not talked to you guys about Tricia yet? I mean, Jay ripping ass. Ripping ass with the Goncalves is here.
Report out and got a magnifying glass and was like, and then put it into AI and made a little body image, a 2-inch gash on her cheek all the way through. I mean,
yeah, too much gas on her ass. I hear you there, Kristi.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when you see this now,
there's Jay.
Starting.
Wow. Just so insightful, Jay. Wow.
With the book that had a lot of information, we are hearing that for the first time.
So if you put yourself in the victim's position, the parent, if it was your kid and you were asked to make a plea deal, and you don't even know these facts about your own kid, let alone the other kids.
Because there's a totality there.
Yeah, I was appalled of what happened to all the children. But
all of them.
Some of them,
I can't even.
The house, Xana running from the house. That was such a level of cruelty that if you don't honor that and say that this person needs a death penalty, this person was running around the house and he's saying, I'm here to help you. He could have just jetted out of the glass. He consciously made a decision to keep taking people's lives. And you need a real prosecutor with real spine to step in there and say, this man is going to be killed.
Do you hear Jay? She's like, what is that noise? Watch. Jay's like, oh my God. What?
if you don't honor that and say that this person needs a death penalty, this person's running around the house and he's saying, I'm here to help.
You hear that? Do you see her eyes light up? She's like, watch. She's like, I'm stoned, man, but I can hear that.
That if you don't honor that and say that this person needs a death penalty, this person's running around the house and he's saying, I'm here to help you. He could have just jetted out of the glass. He consciously made a decision to keep.
She's trying to figure out what that is. Well, we know it's your ass, Jay. Okay. You can mute yourself.
Taking people's lives. And you need a real prosecutor with real spine.
She's thinking how she can stop that noise.
To step in there and say, this man is going to be killed. We're going to put him down. We have the best scientific evidence you can possibly ask for. There's nothing better than DNA in the crime scene. It's over. And it would have been.
Watching Jay's brain work is like watching fucking SpongeBob.
Over. It would have been over.
We had 100% confidence in a trial. We were mad when we weren't going to trial.
Very conservative.
They were 100%. Look at Jay. Look at Jay. She's like, now my ass is on fire. Lana, it's full blown. The Goncalves and I've told them this. You guys could have been 1000% ready for that trial, but you know who was not? The state, because they've been lying to you, and their case is not solid, and it was not gonna. There was a huge chance that it would not withstand the scrutiny. And that if that went to trial, that maybe they don't, maybe they make it pass through this, first go round, but a lot of overturning was going to happen. So look at Jay. She's like, oh my God. She's like, I hear, I'm farting, Jay, every day with Jay, just farting away.
We were going in blind, but we knew what the prosecution had. We knew they had him turning on his phone, him buying the KBR knife, him driving the car that, at least the car that was seen. I mean,
what was that?
The DNA.
The Daybell case was in Idaho.
Yeah,
right?
the Daybell.
4 hours. They came back and said the guy's guilty, death penalty. I think it was the guy, right? And the wife.
Chad.
Chad. Jay knows all about Chad Daybell. Okay. Chad. How about Lori, bitch?
I think they both got the death penalty. I'm not sure.
No, I think she
She didn't.
Yeah. Why don't
she didn't get the death penalty?
I don't know.
Why don't you speak up and tell them why she didn't get the death penalty, Jay? Do you even have a fucking clue? Do you have a clue? Because discovery was 1 day late. Do you know what the fuckers they pulled in this case? The death penalty should have been off the table in Brian Culver's case a whole hell of a lot earlier than it was in Daybell. The fuckers that went on in this case, it was going to take the whole system down. And that's why it couldn't come out. I don't think that we should be protecting that system, though. Do you know how many people are in prison because of the fuckerage that these motherfuckers pull every other day that shouldn't be in prison? And you know what they say? I'm sorry, but I'd rather have, 10 guilty people go free than one innocent person be behind bars. Digital data is the new DNA. That's how the Innocence Project got to where it got and why it got established, because of DNA. In the DNA wasn't around, then it becomes around, right? And now all of a sudden we can start proving that, oh my God, this person really didn't kill anybody, and they actually confessed that they did only so they wouldn't die. Oh my God, DNA just exonerated them, right? We've gone through that. Well, guess what's exonerating people? Guess what the next step is? Oh, all this digital shit that we have. Yeah. I mean, talking to Jay is for justice is, God.
I don't know.
She didn't. She didn't get the death penalty?
I don't know. Did she? I don't know.
You were running a Facebook group of that murder case and you don't know shit about the Daybell case? Or are you just is your brain so fried that you can't remember anything? The Daybell, Lori did not have the death penalty on the table. It got taken off the table because of the prosecution. Bunch of fucking idiots, man. Not the Goncalves is not the fucking idiots. She's a fucking idiot. I don't expect them to know. This broad covered the Daybell case and had a Facebook group about it. I don't know. I'm just doing drama now, man. I don't fucking know, man.
He did, I thought.
The speedy trial go. There's some nuance, but he got it in 4 hours. And I remember the out of state media was like, Idaho doesn't play. I mean, I've never seen a jury come back that fast and say the man's dead, kill him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And guess what, Steve? In the Daybell case, Nick Balance testified to something opposite in the Daybell case than he put in paper in your daughter's case. And that was actually going to be, that was an exhibit that the defense had for Nick Balance. Nick Balance could not go under oath, because guess what would have happened? Somebody that's guilty as shit, right? The Daybells, this case could have potentially, I don't know, worked in their favor to get if Nick Balance testifies, that lo and behold, that Chad and Lori are able to use Nick's bullshit to get an appeal. Yeah, that's the truth.
For a death penalty case.
That's it. We are the reddest state in America. Okay, we had the highest percentage voting for Trump. So if this is a very conservative place. This is not where he wanted to go to the death penalty and roll the dice. I mean, the hunter fishing community, that first
hunter fishing community, we kill, motherfucker. I love Steve. Okay, but some of the stuff that he says is just wild as fuck. Okay. Idaho is now called. We combined Idaho and Washington because, like I said, they don't treat it like a border. Like you could just in and out of Pullman, in and out of Moscow. Like it's just like all one big state. And so we call it Washoe now. So it is one state. We are now 48 states, and it is Washoe. Okay. Get on down to Washoe. You guys will love it, especially Sandpoint, Washoe. It's amazing. Sandpoint is my favorite place. Washoe. Washington, Idaho combined, because it is only one state over there. You got Idaho State Police policing in Washington. Like never, what? Yeah, Washoe. Come on. And some of those bitches need to be washed. There's a lot of hoes up in there.
Thing they asked him in the grand jury, one of the things they asked him was, did he have a hunting and fishing license? Why does he have this huge knife? We know for a fact it's in his house, in his possession. He can't tell us where the other part of it is. He can't tell us where the knife is.
It's not a hunting knife. It's not a fishing knife. It is a military combat knife to kill people, to kill humans.
But military people actually have a reason to have it.
Yes.
They have 100% reason to have it. And there's a lot of good military men in our community that have one.
Mm-hmm.
But they're the ones that know.
But he bought
you don't
this
just go buy this
6 or 7 months before the murders.
And go fillet.
You know what sucks here though is she cannot bring anything to the table because she doesn't know anything. So maybe that's why they picked her. And we can just fucking say whatever we want on this channel. She's gonna be like high as a kite, like yeah, whatever. You guys. Their own medical examiner was going to come out and say that this is multiple weapons, and it's not just multiple weapons, it's multiple knives. Okay, we're talking about the potentiality of 4. Okay, 4. So where's Brian Colbert? And then the crime scene. I mean, come on, who cleaned it up? He in and out of there like fucking the drive-through at fucking Chick-fil-A, man. Give me a break. But she doesn't know anything about the case. And so what she'd want to say is, well, I thought you said at CrimeCon that you were glad the plea deal happened because it was actually the best thing for the case. So that wasn't said at CrimeCon? Because I had people attend and tell me about it. And they actually could not believe what they were hearing because they knew that they were such proponents against this plea deal. So you guys didn't say at CrimeCon that the plea deal was actually the best thing that happened to our case and why you'd want to talk about that? Because Cy Ray will come out and tell you that Brian Colbert would have walked eventually, if not the first go round. So why would he be saying that? Because all of the evidence comes from a very, very, very poisonous tree. And that's what happens in Washoe. So how many people want to go visit Washoe now? Like, you didn't want to go when it was Idaho, but now that I renamed it Washoe, you guys are in, right? Let's go to Sandpoint, Washoe, right? I love Sandpoint. Someone I just saw said that they're from Sandpoint. Do you still live in Sandpoint? I love Sandpoint. You have no idea. I never realized how fucking awesome it is. It is awesome. Pend Oreille Lake. Oh my God. The fun I had out in Pend Oreille Lake. It is glass out there. It is so clear. I partied my ass off with these college kids out there and we had boats and shit. Oh my God. They were like, Auntie Lana's here. Just throwing bottles of liquor to everybody. I was like, let me see your fake ID. Okay, that's fake enough. So yeah, if you've never been to Washoe, Sandpoint, Washoe, you need to go. Take a family trip, go in the summer, and rent a condo out over there, and just live it up. It's great. I had the best time.
A rainbow trout at the stock pond. So it would have been.
And there was, I mean,
look at her. She just look at Jay. I love this for her. She's talking about Ted Bundy and these jokes and stuff. What's in the background of her in this, I don't know, planetarium that she's in, whatever the fucking background is.
I always forget about stuff when I go over in my head, and I'm like, oh yeah, and that. And a lot of it is circumstantial, but when you do have the DNA at the scene and you do have him buying that weapon, and then you do have the car and him turning off his phone and then turning his phone back on, he has no alibi. When you have all this, and
what if the murders happened at 2:53? They began at 2:53 when the phone stopped working for Haley and Maddie. Where's Ethan and Xana? Why is the DoorDash driver lying her face off? And we can prove that. But if the murders happened earlier, and it looks to seem that there's other people's DNA there, and it looks to be like there was a cleanup, I know that I can get down with, sure, yep, it could be Brian. He could be one of them. But I believe that this was more than one person. And I want everybody, whoever fucking did this to my kid, whoever has suppressed anything, I want your whole fucking ass, and I will get it. And so, and Kristi's all for that. She's like, hell yeah, if there's other fucking people, we want them. So don't think for a second that they're not down to think that if there's other people that did this, I know, hey, if you got Brian and other people, oh my God, you think that they would be okay with, oh, well, no, we just got Brian Kober and that's all we want. No, trust me. But Jay just sits there like a fucking lump on a log. Okay. I have nothing to say. I don't know anything. Because that's what you would interject with. Well, you don't think this could be other people besides him? And if it was, like, you'd want them, right? Okay. So if they were ever one day to be able to match that hair that they have in this case to somebody else, what do you think about that? There's DNA on that sheath that's not Brian Kober's. What do you think about that? What about the blood on the glove? If one day this could come out that there would be more people, because I think somebody had knew some shit with law enforcement that was involved in this. Why weren't they using the radio? Why did they tell everybody don't use the radios? That sounds like they think that the person's in law enforcement. They don't want the shit getting out of the radio. You could use that. I want everybody involved in this case. Just like in the Watts case, I said, Chris had his phones on him. He never walked up a flight of stairs during the time that he's putting the kids in the oil tanks. I said, so there's a possibility that somebody else put them in the oil tanks, because why isn't his phone? It was registering steps and flights earlier, and it's registering the steps still, but why isn't it registering 4 flights of stairs? It needed to register because of how many stairs there were for just the one trip. And he said he went twice because each kid was once. And so I said, fuck, I think that someone needs to look into that. I think that anybody and everybody that was involved in that murder needs to go down.
Just the circumstantial that just piled on top of each other. You can't deny that it doesn't paint a picture. It doesn't.
Well, if you have a brain that paints a picture.
Yeah,
I mean, there's still people that say he's innocent, so I think you're just going to have to like throw them in the trash. You know what I mean? Like those people are going to just not go away. But
because from experience, right, Jay? Those people are just not going to go away. So just throw them in the trash. Okay, guys? Like that's when she wants to chime in versus I would have said there, hey, I'm not even caring what people say about Brian Kober or not. Like he wanted to say he was guilty until that boy wanted to say something else. I say you believe somebody until they want to fight the opposite way. But hey, do you think that there's any room that you would be thinking that this could potentially be other people involved?
People with a brain realize, he pled guilty.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and they say that was their thing. They say people do that all the time.
Then find me one. Find me somebody who
pleads guilty, 4 counts of murder.
4 of them. You don't get out with 4.
And never say a word. Your family never fights for you. And they said maybe his family is fighting for him, but they're just not being allowed like you guys are. I'm like, I'm sorry. If my son I would be standing on every mountaintop, getting hold of every media outlet saying, my son was framed. There's a problem here. This was not my son. And I would never, ever, ever stop. And he's being quiet.
But not with that evidence.
He could
we would
be.
have had that evidence.
I agree with what Kristi's saying. Totally agree. That's what I thought his dad was saying. Okay. We also all have different personalities. Also, depending on what your son's lawyer has asked of you to do, you're following. So that's the only thing, because I say it all the time, like, why wouldn't you scream from the rooftops that you didn't do it, blah, blah, blah. Well, because anything that you can't say will be used against you in the courtroom. All right. And to dissect everything. So I personally believe that Ann Taylor asked that the parents, I don't even know, maybe they retained counsel, who knows if they did, but that the media is just going to dissect everything that you say. And so be careful with that. And if they're going to be doing something the way that Ann Taylor has been handling herself since day one, she doesn't talk to the media. She doesn't, she put her own experts in NDAs. Okay. So I just think that it's never been well, Brian said he's like, I can't wait to be exonerated, which is not the word that you would use. I can't wait to fix this, correct this wrong, that like whatever they're claiming here, but I'm curious to see what happens here, that the new ruling has come down from the SCOTUS with the Hunter versus the United States. And that was a huge win for us. That was a huge win for the citizens of the United States of America. There should be no thing where you waive your right to an appeal ever in order to get a plea deal. That's insane. And the ruling was right, and it came in a 7-1 decision, which is amazing. In that opinion, I'm going to go over next week.
As if my son had that in his Amazon order and he just left, his car matches, he's telling us he's out running around the same exact time.
No alibi.
Then he comes home and changes his
Wearing
car.
gloves and shit.
Yeah, he puts the bumper on there to go change his car. I mean, I'd be like, why do you go put that on his car? We asked him if he had any involvement in this, and now he's changing his car. Like, come on.
Putting trash in the neighbors.
I think he means not the bumper. I think he's talking about the bug thing. That's what I'm thinking that he's talking about there, because he didn't change his bumper. I think he means the bug guard. But I just know that he didn't have, his car doesn't have fog lights. So that's a big problem. And Idaho Moscow Police Department has claimed the circling with the car as their own in a November 15th, 2022 report, like police report. So yeah. And he was not heading towards Moscow at 2:47. He was actually on his home cell tower at his apartment at 2:50 and 32 seconds. And then his phone stopped reporting the network at 2:54 and whatever seconds. And when you actually have to lay it out in that order and not omit things like Nick Balance did, they would have never gotten a search warrant ever, because the car and phone aren't moving together and it's not moving towards. And so that's the issue that I have. And when you're having a whole team of people lying about stuff and making things up, and then when do you start to believe the evidence? Like, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. Karen Reed has more evidence against her than Brian Kohlberger will ever. And her lawyers showed that case. I mean, her taillight is shattered right where the man was laying dead. It was planted. How did they win that in the courtroom? How? Because the investigation was shit. And they showed what a shit show it was. And she was found not guilty. Trial 2. The media was calling her a cop killer.
Trash at 3 a.m. When he was arrested, he was sorting trash at like 2 a.m, literally sitting in his kitchen with gloves on, sorting trash into baggies. And they busted in the house. And that's what he.
And I would have asked to see pictures of that, Kristi. I wouldn't believe any of these people on what they would have told me. I would have said, where's the body camera? Oh, wait, you guys didn't wear any. There was no body camera worn on that raid to go in there. There's no pictures being taken. There's no video. There's nothing, because that's how Pennsylvania State Police do it. This is all eyes are on this case, and you guys don't have body worn camera to put on to go into that house. And then you don't what? I mean, but there's no way to prove anything of what they're saying here. That's coming from an officer. But they're choosing to believe that officer. And I have a hard time believing any of these officers when I see it in front of my face that they lied. How do you get to pick and choose what you're going to believe then at that point when you know that they lied? And that's what's reasonable doubt. And that's why that's why Bill Thompson offered a plea deal. And trust me, I don't want a killer out there. So if a trial didn't happen and the right person's behind bars, right? And however this played out, that's great because the world's safer. But if Brian Culver wanted to appeal, I'd be the first person to say that he deserves due process and he deserves his right to a fair trial, because that's our justice system. And we don't get to pick and choose who gets to have due process based off of our fucking beliefs that we think somebody did it. Sorry.
Was doing, and he also had a black light flashlight in his pocket and buckle swabs.
And just going back to what she's saying,
What?
That's not weird.
The reason
Not at all.
that they thought he went and he got rid of the garbage elsewhere is because they went through the garbage and didn't find his stuff in there. And then the way that they found him in the house, they said clearly he wasn't using his own garbage for his garbage. Maybe he was using the neighbors. So that's how that.
Buckle swabs? Do you guys know what that is? That he had buckle swabs? Are you talking about like what? Again, none of this has ever been said in an interview. And here's Jay. Jay doesn't know any of this. And if I was Jay, I would have been like, what are you talking about? We've never heard any of this shit. I've listened to every interview you guys have ever done. I've listened to everything that's come out. I know every fucking piece of paper that has been written in this case. Wait, can we slow down here? Who told you these things? Because none of this is in any document. But this is Jay. Look, she has no clue what is going on. And so maybe we need to thank her because she's so oblivious. She doesn't know what to say. She's just, I am letting you guys come on my platform and just say whatever you want. And so thank you, Jay. Okay. But what they are saying here, you don't say, wait, huh? And this should just tell you that she knows nothing. Because everything that they are saying, we've never fucking heard before, ever. But Jay has no idea about that. She's wondering who's farting still.
Got out some.
She's like, I cannot believe that this has only been 35 minutes. I do 4-hour, 5-hour lives about Tricia, and we're only 35 minutes in, and I'm so bored.
People are like, well, I don't see that in the docs.
They never found it in the garbage, though? They never.
They went through his, and that's why they got the dad, and they got the sisters. They were in there. I don't think they processed them, or they didn't share that with us. They may have got the mom and didn't share it with us because really not any of our business. What it was they didn't get his. So they were like, something's going on. Nobody lives in a house like that.
Brett Payne, the lead investigator, said no, they literally saw him jumping a fence at like 3 a.m. and putting trash in the neighbor's garbage. I'm sure they caught it out. I don't know. Or maybe they didn't have a warrant for that neighbor. I don't know.
Almost hit him in the car.
Yeah.
And it appeared that he was leaving. We don't want to put words in those guys' mouth.
Well, that's what he said.
Well,
she's laughing. She's laughing. Look at her. Watch this.
And it appeared that he was leaving. We don't.
Jumping a fence at like 3 a.m. and putting trash in the neighbor's garbage. I'm sure they caught it out. I don't know. Or maybe they didn't have a warrant for that neighbor. I don't know.
Almost hit him in the car.
Yeah.
And it appeared that he was leaving. We don't want to put words in those guys' mouth.
She's like, oh my God. I don't even know what's going on right now. She is so fucking whelmed. Dude, overwhelmed. She's like, I wish I would just shit my pants right now. I need a reason just to leave for a minute. Because can I just please shit myself? I mean, where's the dog that's farting? Okay, look at Jay. Oh, God.
Mouth.
Well, that's what he said.
Well,
look at the little.
And it appeared that he was leaving. We don't want to put words in those guys' mouth.
Well, that's what he said.
Well, it appears he was leaving the neighbor's house.
What is so funny, Jay? Oh
he almost nudged his car into him coming around a bend. So
there was kind of a little like crossing paths there.
Exactly. He was coming around thinking he's not at the house yet. He's at the neighbor's.
Wait, what do you mean, Jay? They were kind of like crossing paths where? In the middle of the air? Like, what? Jay, you got no clue what's going on, girl, but I love it. You trying. You trying? Oh shit! What is she talking about? Just crossing paths there in the air. What? Jay.
But why is this guy at the neighbor's house right next to the garbage can? Like,
kind of caught in the act, yeah.
Yeah, you start putting it all
Creepy.
together in the aftermath.
Did you guys
caught in what act, Jay? Caught in the act of what? I'm taking my trash and putting it in the neighbor's trash. But hey, they're watching me out here like they don't see me do this. The fuck out of here. The fuck that. You might as well take a fucking shovel, go in your backyard, and just start digging a hole and putting your trash in the fucking ground like a landfill.
guys ever get to hear or read any transcripts of like his mom's interview with the police?
Oh, okay.
No,
after his arrest?
No, and I did it for you on just
36 minutes, and she asked a question, guys. There you go. How about the mom? Have you been able to, listen to those conversations yet? And Steve's like, I requested that shit.
Members of his family.
Yeah.
And they said there was an ongoing investigation.
They won't release it.
They won't release
I know
it.
there was
Wait, an ongoing investigation into what, Jay? That was what you need to ask. What do you mean there's an ongoing investigation? That's where you need to say, oh, so are they investigating? Do they think more people are involved in the killing of your daughter? What's this ongoing investigation about? Is it what? But guess what they can do? Oh, you didn't appeal it? You can appeal it. You don't believe that. Prove it there's an investigation going on. An investigation into what? I would appeal that if I was the Goncalveses.
excerpts released in that book where his mom said like he's my angel and all this
I
weird
heard
stuff.
some of that. Yeah.
I haven't
didn't
read it
read
yet,
the book, but I did hear her angel boy or her angel baby. And
I don't know.
just weird.
Somebody said that she said that he needed a K-bar to protect himself from bears.
Yeah, because he was out hiking.
Who said that? Jay, this is when you need to say, who said that? Because he was out there hiking? What, bitch? He bought the K-bar, allegedly, supposedly, in April, March, right? He wasn't even accepted into this goddamn school yet in 2022. Okay?
Or something.
yeah,
That's that he needed a K-bar to protect himself from bears.
Yeah, because he was out hiking or something.
That's the most ridiculous
that
thing.
his mom is the one that told him to get the knife.
If that's true,
Where is this coming from? This is Tina with What the Fuck Translation Services. What the fuck are you talking about? But Jay doesn't know what this... Jay, you need to be asking, what's the source of this information? But you don't know what to... You don't... Because, you guys, this is no knock on the Goncalveses. Their brains are going a mile a minute. Because... And when you're being interviewed and you've already like told the story before or you've already talked about it, you already think that somebody knows something. So this is no knock to them. She isn't understand. Like, okay, hey, so wait, who said this to you guys? When did this happen? Like, Jay, it's showing, man, pretty rusty, huh? You haven't interviewed anybody in a long time. I can tell, because this fucking sucks. This interview is fucking trash. And it's not because of the Goncalveses. They're over here wanting to spill their guts. And you fucking don't even know how to fucking conduct your ass, man. Your ass is on fire. And here's your fucking, oh yeah, uh-huh. Yeah. Acting like you know what they're talking about. And you haven't got a clue. You know how I know you don't got a clue? Because we've never heard this shit before. So you couldn't have a fucking clue. So take your fucking corn on the cob and shove it up your ass. I know you like to eat corn on the cob. Maybe I should start telling everybody about your stories about your corn on the cob obsession.
Yeah.
That's not
I mean,
good.
why not get some bear spray? I mean, you're going to get a K-bar?
That's called foreshadowing. That's
and he also was on the phone with her when he came back around in the area the next morning, right?
Yes, he returned to the scene the next
And
morning.
the first thing he did when he pulled up to that house is Dad popped out, went in the garage, jumped in his car, pulled his car out of the garage, went and parked it outside, and put his kid's car in the garage.
Yeah.
Why are you going
And
to
then he started vacuuming, started cleaning it out. So people are like, oh, they didn't find anything in the car. He had 7 weeks to clean it.
Of course they didn't.
And even,
He had a black light.
But you know, I go with what Steve said earlier. Like he went to school to learn how to go in as CSI and examine a crime scene without leaving anything behind. So you can do that in like a different way, but commit the crime and not leave anything behind.
Totally.
It's twisted.
I'm sure his car was totally prepped, but I'm sure if he...
You guys, they're not trying to convince us. They're trying to convince themselves. And Jay there's no convincing. I mean, you could convince her that the fucking dogs and cats are flying behind her. She'd be like, I see it. I see it. She's high as a kite, man. This girl's blasted out of her fucking mind. She's not sober. Okay. She's sitting there getting high off of her own farts right now. Okay. I mean, I'm enjoying the moment here, guys. This is not every day with Jay. You get to see this type of shit. Jay is clueless as a fucking, I mean, she's bad. It's bad. But I'm enjoying the moment of like, I want to hear what the G's have to say. I want to just, and then I want to say, where did you hear this from? Who told you all this shit? Because it is not in one public document that we have. And so ask, but she's an idiot. Like, and let them talk. Let them say, because they're telling us everything that they were told by police officers. Do you understand that? I'm not sticking up for them. I'm explaining the situation. Because I've actually talked to them. I'm explaining the situation. They're not making this up out of thin air. This is the shit that was told to them. Don't you want to know what these cops were telling these parents? I do. I'm here for it. I just can't believe that that their PR person said, yeah, you should go on Jay for Justice, who fucking hates Othram, who hates everything that you're doing, and who is dragging your business partner's partner. Like, wow, you know, just like
had not cleaned it for 6 weeks.
We're going to use some of his school assignments, some of his reports against him, and say how he matched the same footprint of what he said. How you should go into a crime scene. Yeah. Leave doors open. Don't double touch them. You know, use your foot. Move the door. They were going to show
that he knew these things
are in that crime scene. His own reports are in that crime scene, guys. Maybe that's just another one of these coincidences. I'm sure the Kohlbergers will be dumb till the very last, moment.
Yeah, he sure as shit put that footprint right there in Dylan's crack, right?
That he actually even
come on, guys,
says it, and they still
whose footprint is that? Remember Dylan then when she testified to the grand jury, the door was only cracked to look out. Well, you guys know where the crack and the footprint were, right? It's right where Jay's ass crack is.
Can convince themselves that doesn't mean what it means times 4. Nobody can help you. If he can't even tell you he did it, then nobody else is going to.
Yeah. No. Can you tell us what when you had a call, you said it was a long time ago, but Steve, you said that someone that had answered Brian's research essay had contacted you and said that they answered it on Reddit or something like that?
Yeah, well, somebody back in his community, I think it seemed like somebody that was maybe another student there had talked about how he had contacted, and he had been one of those people that gave him information, and he was intrigued with his story of how he would stake out a place and how he would listen to the radio. He would listen to radios and try to find husbands who got domestic disputes, and he would get hauled off to the police, and then he would go in and he would rob those homes, knowing that
back when he was younger.
Maybe she's passed out.
Jay, you're not like, wait, what? He would set up a ruse to clear out a house so that he can go in and rob a house. Wait, but he didn't create this Reddit thing until like way after, like he was involved with like, I don't know. I mean, what? Jay, what? You need to like lay some foundation. We can understand like, hey, Steve, remember somebody contacted him and blah, blah, what?
Essay had contacted you and said that they answered it on Reddit or something like that?
Yeah, well, somebody back in his community, I think it seemed like somebody that was maybe another student there had talked.
You need to say, how did they contact you? They contacted you from your Facebook group? Like, Jay, do you not know how to ask any questions so that we can understand? I mean, fuck, you suck.
About how he had contacted, and he had been one of those people that gave him information, and he was intrigued with his story of how he would stake out a place and how he would listen to the radio. He would listen to radios and try to find husbands who got domestic disputes, and he would get hauled off to the police, and then he would go in and he would rob those homes.
So yeah, Kohlberger didn't do that. This dude told Kohlberger about how he would do this. That's what you need to ask right here, Jay, just so we get this clear.
knowing
My
that
God.
back when he was younger.
maybe she's passed out, or at least I'm not going to be dealing with the mail.
Oh,
Likelihood.
Like a police scanner. He was listening.
yeah,
to
that's
police
creepy.
scanners.
And
Yeah.
then the guy's out of the house, and you got the woman alone, or maybe not
Yeah.
even home anymore. You know.
And we think they've shared stuff.
Wait, are you under the impression that Brian was doing that? This is what a dude allegedly told Brian in responding to one of his, hey, this is me responding to your Reddit thing. So basically what Steve's saying is that the person that responded to Brian's Reddit, one of the people, was like, yeah, I responded to that. And we know how all these crazy people are out there. Just, I'm going to go ahead and pretend and troll and act like I fucking responded and say all this weird shit. So the question is, did you vet that stuff, Steve? The person that told you that they did this? Did you turn it over to the police to say, hey, this is what this person, and did the police go and where's a police report that they went and interviewed this piece of shit that supposedly responded to Brian Culver's Reddit? Yeah, guess what? I've gone through all the police reports. There's not a single one.
That he was on a loop, and that wasn't just the only house that he stopped and spent a lot of time where the ping showed that he wasn't moving. So there was a couple girl houses up there that were just females. So we think he was hunting that area, trying to find the perfect location where there wouldn't be males, and he could get in there and find women and obviously do whatever weird backstory he had.
It was basically a little mini sorority house. It wasn't a full-on sorority house, but it was a house full of girls. So he knew.
And it was so it was so open in the back where he could sit back there.
You would have also known that Ethan lived there, who's a 6'4" dude. As much as he didn't live there, he lived there. You get what I'm saying? Like, so somebody that's stalking this place, you're also going to see cars there that you would have never seen there before. The black SUV, which is the Explorer, right? And then you would have seen the Range Rover, okay? And Bethany's vehicle is not there because Bethany smashed her vehicle. And so you have two vehicles, you're missing one, and you have two vehicles that you've never seen before. But you've been stalking this house, and those two vehicles look like they could be adult parent vehicles. And you know that it's Parents Weekend at WSU. And if you've stalked these people, you know that the WSU, one of the girls goes there and the other one's at Moscow. And, their parents could be in town because it's, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, is this an organized killing or is this a disorganized killing? Because that parking lot and then everything that was going on, supposedly when someone's just circling around, hey, I'm just sitting here waiting, getting on every fucking camera I can. Makes no sense, but yet can't get on a camera to save their life on the way there. Is able to avoid every single camera to get there. To include leaving up out of Pullman to begin with, because none of that is him at like 242 and 248 and all that shit. That's not his car.
And see, you
could park up there for hours, and the detectives believe that is where he parked. And they said that the car, so it was within 300 yards, right? So that could be a lot of places, is what people say, right? But he couldn't account for where he was. And during the times, they were all between the times of 11 p.m. and 3 a.m., 11 to 4 or 11 to 3. Anyways, late night hours, nothing was open at that time. So he couldn't be like, oh, I was at, Winco, or I was at this or that. And he was stationary. The car was not moving, and it would be for several hours at a time. So if you whittle down the businesses and then you ask him.
Good job, Kristi. That's what you exactly would do. You would whittle down the businesses, right? But now here for the first time, we hear that, remember these middle of the night times? Now we finally got an answer, which is 11 p.m. to like 4 a.m. That was like the normal. And so he was there with his cell phone, and he was able to be on the cell phone tower, and they were for extended periods of time. Again, I want to see these 23 times or 13 or 12 times, and I want to see the cell tower activity, because I can promise you this: if you have information that's more than the cell tower information, then they did have Brian Culver's timing advance records, and that's that big lie. Okay, that they hid that. And the reason that they hid that is because they didn't want to map out how Brian Culver's phone was actually at his apartment when it was non-responsive to anything at 254. And they knew that. And they just lied.
Where were you?
No bank
You were
transactions.
within this circle of 300 yards. 23 different times for several hours.
There's no
and he would
300
say, well,
yards.
my buddy Jimmy lives right
listen.
there. I was at Jimmy's.
Listen, there is no way Kristi is mistaken. There is no way that she can be claiming anything within 300 yards. That means you had timing advanced. You understand that? I am standing on this firm as fuck. You cannot, because they never had Brian Koberger's timing advance records. That's their claim. If Kristi is saying that they can put Brian Koberger within a 300-yard area of, then that means you have timing advance. And now I wouldn't be speaking out about that because that's going to give Brian Koberger the biggest opportunity to do exactly what you guys don't want, is this appeal. And I just wouldn't be talking about this. But from Cy Ray, you're going to hear in his book, you cannot put Brian Koberger ever on at an address. You can put him in a square mile radius of a tower that covers 5 miles. So just think about that. Because they're choosing to say that they don't have the timing advance records. If you have the timing advance records, everything changes. So all they're able to use is cell towers. And that cell tower covers a 5-mile radius.
Right.
That's why people think like 4 or 5 people went in there. Are you stupid? Yes, you are. Because for one, Kaylee and Maddie's room couldn't fit more than freaking 3-4 people in there. So if one more person came through the door, you'd literally be shoulder to shoulder with another person.
Maddie's room was small. Kaylee's room was
bed
bigger.
took up like the majority of the room.
Yeah, it was very small.
And it's more of a chance to leave DNA behind with multiple people.
And they did. There was multiple DNA in that room. Oh my God. There's multiple people's DNA on the goddamn sheath.
And they're going to all keep a perfect story. They're
That's
not
what I
gonna
said.
happen
I'm
to each
like,
other.
they think that he went in there. He didn't do it. And that, but multiple people went in.
They're all stabbing. They don't stab each other. They're swinging. It's like a movie. These guys, their minds are just so corrupted.
Or
with Hollywood.
they divided and conquered.
Crazy.
They just came in and just went and,
yeah, it's not a movie. It's real. And
life, man.
And people say it all the time. I see it on YouTube and stuff. Like, there's no way one guy could have done that in an amount of time. It's like Ted Bundy did it with a log, with a piece of wood in less time. Okay. And there was people, there was other girls in the house that didn't even wake up. They didn't hear a thing. Yes, it's possible.
These same people would be like, who? What PhD? What?
How many people were in each room? Why don't you talk more about Ted Bundy? Talk about Ted Bundy.
What smart person would go in there and beat somebody with the log? Clearly, it's a meth head. They would just run off with some stupid, non-scientific,
Ted Bundy was
made-up
educated.
narrative.
Yeah, I talked to Kathy Kleiner, and I've talked to her, and she has told me about her.
A very interesting conversation. Good for Kristi.
Her experience.
Yeah, she's done things. She's done interviews and things too. She's
an amazing,
she's a strong woman.
And yes,
that's awesome. I'm glad that Kristi talked to her.
He was not in the house for very
long. She didn't
long.
remember anything from that. What happened to her? Her experience. She was like, I didn't feel any pain. Nothing happened. Just kind of helping her.
Just woke up in the hospital.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what our daughter went through because they hid that from us. But by the time we did figure it out, we couldn't ask the questions because we're not talking to those people anymore. That's one reason why this stuff should come out earlier, because then it can be part of the case. But
Kathy really wanted to reach out, and talk to me about the fact that even though she had these horrible injuries of being beaten with this log, that she had no recollection of it. She just remembers waking up in the hospital, and being in the hospital and whatnot.
Right, because she was sleeping, right?
Yeah.
He attacked her when she was sleeping.
He did wake up.
Very similar.
She said she woke up and saw the shadow. Her roommate was being beaten. She woke up and was like, she said she tried to make herself like really, really small in the bed, and whack.
She should have just jumped up, called 911 right away. Then just perfect. Just like how these guys expect, our surviving roommates to be. It's like,
but
in real life, it doesn't happen.
She just wanted me to know that she did not think that Kaylee was in pain. She does not think that Kaylee felt terror. She don't think that she did.
What? I'm just shocked right there. You guys, the medical examiner was going to testify. That's why I wanted this to go to trial. And that's why they were so adamant of the death penalty. This medical examiner was going to testify to the amount of pain that everybody went through in that house. So I'm so confused. Because this wasn't quick. That's what this medical examiner was going to testify to. And trigger warning here, because you guys know that I don't talk about this much on the channel because But if somebody went back into that room and thought maybe Kaylee, because they could hear her, and that's why there was the, oh my God, she's not dead. And then and that's what happened. Then the extra, you guys know what I'm talking about and should understand what I mean. But this is completely opposite. Like, I understand that girl situation and whatever she's claiming, but the medical examiner was going to testify that this was a very, very painful death. And that's why I'm so supporting of Steve and Kristi, and the fact that you lied to these fucking parents and you told them that they were sleeping and that this was quick and that nothing happened, and that so that you told that to other people's parents so that you could try to like get them to say, yeah, we want the plea deal. So you're lying about the situation, right? And it's just like, who do these cops and prosecutors think that they are? And
she was like, because I'm just going for my own accountability.
It was so fast.
Yes, it was so fast, Kristi. And I did survive, but
it's a shock. Is she talking about shock?
Yeah. So, yeah.
My heart breaks for you guys, man. I just, hearing all this, it's just like, it's so much for a parent.
So much for her because she's a fucking idiot. Not because she cares, but she's high as a kite. It's just so much. I don't even know what's going on.
To take in and just to know that you were left in the dark for so long. I don't know how they could justify keeping, what happened to your daughter under a gag order.
What? They weren't kept in the dark. They were lied to. And then the gag order was in place for what, Jay? Do you not know what true crime is all about? They claim that the gag order was to do what? Was to preserve the rights of the defendant. But guess what? The only narrative that got to just continue to plow through life for 3 years was the false narrative that was in the probable cause affidavit.
I'll tell you one thing. It's lucky that Thompson is, 70 some years old, or he would be done. I would rally this whole.
Yeah, to get him out.
Did he retire yet?
Never.
I fucking love Steve right there. He's like, I'll tell you this right now. That fucking Thompson, man, he's about 70 some years old. He's done, If not, I'd rally this whole fucking community. He'd be done. You know what, Steve? I love that about you. But let me tell you something. Jay for Justice goes after almost 70-year-olds. I think that Tricia woman's like 68. I'm not over here counting birthdays, but I'm sorry. Anybody that's above 55 years old is considered a senior citizen. Like what is it? I call them the new age majority because they make up the majority. When you want to talk about percentages of our country, the new age majority is 55 and older, and they're smart as fuck, by the way. But here, Tricia is right around that same age group that Bill Thompson is. And you're over here talking to Tricia's. Jay's like, oh, hell yeah, I know what it's like to fucking beat an ass and drag a bitch who's 68 and 70. Oh, hell yeah, I do. That's what she's thinking about right now. She's like, yep, I know what you're talking about.
He's not retired yet. No, he's still got 2 years on his term or something. But really? Yeah.
Tell him to touch his toes, Kristi, right? Kick him in the ACL.
Yeah. And we're like,
you know what? If he wasn't, I'd rally people around. What do you mean? He should be out right now then if he has. I didn't realize he had 2 more years. I thought he was going to early retire. 2 more years. Shit.
It'd be my life's mission to get that man completely ran out of town.
And look at Jay. She's like, hey, can we swap ideas? Because I'm trying to run some 68-year-old out of town too. I'm trying to run her off the internet. Much respect, Lana. There is a lot of boomer hate on these. Oh, I hate when they do that on these YouTube streets. And that's bullshit. Sandy, I started a trivia company back before I started my YouTube channel. And my trivia company, I did bars, restaurants, resorts all over the globe here. And then I started it's called the Mind Challenge. And it was 55 and older. It was a huge ass live team trivia event that we put on. All the different cities in Ohio. They came in like groups of like 6, 5, 4, and you competed against other groups that were 55 and older. And dude, these teams had people that were 55 all the way to I had a woman that was 92. I fucking loved this woman. Loved this little nugget. She was smart as a fucking tack. She didn't miss shit. She's like, Lana, you didn't say that word right. And I'm like, Sue, next question. But anyways, I had a blast with it. You know, I got paid. And every day I loved going to work, you know, just like I do now. But I'll tell you what, man, God, like, how do you mess with an older person? They're just like, you got to eat break. They're set in their ways. And I just love it. Cause I would be like, I can only imagine if your man was still around, he'd be like, Dottie, I tell you what, get down here with them bacon, get down here with them eggs. We got to go to trivia. Let's go, Dottie. Like, he's probably giving you shit, Dottie, because you're always late. I always have to wait 10 minutes because Dottie has to look fashionably like late. She's like, you like my pearls, Lana? I was like, yeah, Dottie, love them. Let's go. We're going to do trivia. She's like, I know, I'm ready. I studied. I said, how do you study in trivia, Dottie? And she's like, I watched Jeopardy last night. I'm like, fuck Alex Trebek, man. She's like, it wasn't him. It was Ken Jennings. All right, Dottie, let's go.
Yeah. Can't say I blame you there.
It wasn't the first time he did something like this.
Right. So,
yeah, it was Jay's ass again.
I told you before we started. Whoops. There we go. I told you before we started that I was going to play a couple clips and kind of get your reaction to them. I want to play the first one right now. This is Steve and Scott Reich at CrimeCon. It's super short. And by the way, that's not Kristi's tummy. That's the dog snoring.
Yes.
She's a snorer. Excuse me, guys. That's not my asshole as much as I wish that it was. Okay, because it needs to get loosened up a little bit. That is Kristi and Steve. It's always their fault. It's always her guest's fault. She had to make a comment about that because, you know, she's like, everyone's gonna think I'm farting. You got the farts, Jay.
We love her. We love her. Okay, so here it is. I'm gonna play it really quick.
You're speeding and they give you a defective headlamp, right? We're talking murder. We're gonna spend the rest of your life in prison.
Alfred plea. They wanted to do an Alfred plea, and we were like, I rallied everyone. Was like, we ain't doing this.
I wish. And this.
So that caught the attention of one of my friends, Salty Sleuth. She's in chat. She said, will you please ask him about the Alfred plea? So what?
Well, we're in a small community. Everybody knows everybody. And it was fed to us that, just so you guys know, I don't respect this, but she is going to go for an Alfred plea. Look at her past cases. She's used an Alfred plea before successfully.
This is Ann Taylor.
Yes.
Ann Taylor had, I believe it was a Nez Perce community that there was a murder.
You can just look up Ann Taylor's Alfred plea case.
It's getting harder. I don't know what's going on. Some of these cases that I used to be able to find pretty easy are kind of scrubbed. You don't see them as much. But yeah, she used the same tactic of having him not even plea when the judge said, or how do you stand?
Stand silent.
And you don't do anything. She steps in and speaks for him. And she was doing the exact playbook, even using some of the exact same paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
So the AG would be like, yeah, we've seen this before. We've seen this is her signature. This is what she's known to do. She's going to go for an Alfred plea. This is a strategy she had. And I said, that ain't going to go. That ain't going to fly. I'm not going to sit here and live the rest of my life with this guy pretending.
Because that's where they don't have to say what they did.
Yeah.
Wait, what, Jay? An Alfred plea, Jay, you don't know what an Alfred plea is? I thought you covered the West Memphis. I mean, this broad, okay? Jay. Oh, that's right. You dumb as fuck and you high as kite.
Right?
They basically don't have to take ownership of what they did.
They say that there's enough evidence there to convict you of a crime. But I'm not saying that I did the crime, but there's enough evidence there. That's an Alfred plea. That's what that is, Jay.
So
They say you have too much information. I can't fight it, but I'm still
not admitting it.
My innocence. It's very weird. But when it came to us that they were doing a plea deal, which came in on a Sunday afternoon in an email, we immediately, started phoning them up. And when we talked to them, Steve was like, this better not be an Alfred plea. And Bill Thompson was like, it is not an Alfred plea. She tried to go that route. Sorry, Juju. And absolutely not.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because there was a time where we were close to dropping Kaylee completely off this case and going with just federal charges, which would have been more expensive.
in the very beginning.
So we had a little leverage there, just basically.
I'm surprised it wasn't federal, being that he lived.
Jay, you're not over here saying this is Tina with What the Fuck Transition Services. Steve, you've talked about this before about we were just wanting them to just drop these charges against Kaylee and go federal. Steve, you're not a police officer. So what are you talking about? What federal agents were you talking to? Like, let's just start coughing up some names here. Where are you getting this information from? Where are you like, we were going to do this and we were going to do that? Who the fuck is we? Because I love you guys to death, but you guys aren't doing shit. Okay? But Jay, she doesn't know dick about badge, nothing. I mean, the girl bullies a 68-year-old woman on the internet every single day, drags her. Her name is Tricia. She runs Web Sleuths, who is your business partner's business partner. That's who you guys are interviewing with right now. Somebody who bullies the elderly. No knock to Tricia out there, because I think 68-year-olds, they're the new 48-year-olds, just like the new 40, or the 40 is the new 20. It's all relative. 68, fuck, man, you're like 40 in prime. That's how I feel about myself. I feel like I'm 21. So this woman, J is for Justice. I've personally met her. She committed a federal felony while we were on a business trip in Denver. I did not know. She then tells me about it, provides the receipts, and so did another girl. Because the weed that she decided to pack into a package from all the weed places this bitch visited, God forbid you do any work, was getting high as a kite all over fucking Denver, but then was like, that's just not enough for me. I need to mail all of this shit back to Florida. Across how many state lines? And then it gets intercepted. And then they're calling her ass. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why do I have a receipt here of that your package that was sent to you was intercepted by authorities? Oh God, yeah, can you believe it? I'm like, this is true. I'm like, you fucking mailed weed while we were on a business trip? Are you out of your fucking mind from a hotel that I was staying at? Bye. I wanted you as my camera girl. I wanted you to make some edits and videotape shit. You had one goddamn job.
In Washington, it happened in Idaho.
And then he fled. He fled
to Pennsylvania, right? Like, what the heck?
Pennsylvania. He crossed multiple states. It's not the Italian kid. What's his name?
Luigi Mangione.
Same thing. Crossed the line, killed somebody in another
federal.
state, and it was
federal.
They're not playing games. They don't want to deal with another Moscow again. Where
we never understood why it wasn't federal. We asked about it several times, and we were told that Moscow would not hand it over, and FBI can't. They said that the FBI won't ever take a case.
Right. They have to be asked, right?
Just take it from them. They have to be asked. And
the next thing is we could say drop Kaylee, and then they would have somebody to defend. And I think that's why that's one reason why Thompson never went after the stalking stuff, is because those could be federal charges that had, I think, twice the amount of time they could give them with a federal charge of stalking. Because you're stalking over the state line and you're starting the stalking on a computer.
And didn't the FBI tell us that they couldn't do death penalty?
They did. They did. They said they would not pursue it because at that time, federal wasn't pursuing death charges. They are now, but they weren't at that time.
Really?
This was under Biden, so things were different,
Wow.
Goddamn.
So
I think that they wanted to keep control of it.
They did.
They did.
Because once it's in the Fed's hands, they can't say shit, right?
Yeah.
And then whatever's put out is put out. But they had total control, and we're meeting with the university, giving them updates, right, every day in the beginning.
They were part of the gag order. They were part of the prosecution. They were part of that prosecution, and they weren't part of the gag. So
U of I was actually excluded from the gag order.
Somehow my lawyer, my private.
I remember I was just telling you guys about that. That's funny that they brought that up. Good work. That's so true. I'm being notified about my pre-ordering of my snacks and beverages on my flight. Oh my God. Woohoo. Woohoo. Oh, did I tell you I'm going to be on Inside Edition? Inside Edition wants to cover my one of my cases and my crazy ass because I'm just so entertaining. This is Inside Edition with Lana Oriani. J is for juveniles and jowls and jaundice and whatever the fuck else you want to put on that J.
Family lawyer.
When Kay was out here back in the day, her and Kay had a channel. Like I told you, I have no idea how she's on YouTube. She's violated every fucking term that's out here, all these terms of service. Kay fucking messages me and she's like, get up in them jowls. I'm like, excuse me? She's like, J is for jowls. And I said, what? She's like, oh yeah, when you get to see her in person, she's got these jowls on her. And I'm like, oh my God, woman. She's like, yeah, fuck that bitch. She spread around the internet that I like molested my kid. I said, she did what? I was like, how did I ever hear about that? Because I don't follow any of this shit. She's like, yeah. I was like, wow. I was like, I'm so sorry to hear that. I said, that is disgusting. That is unbelievable. Like, so this bitch has been doing this shit for years. And so it's no surprise that here she would be dragging this woman, Tricia, and for no reason. For no reason. She didn't even know this woman, Tricia. Just because Tricia put on Lauren Matthias on her panel or some shit. Are you out of your fucking mind? And I cannot wait because I'm going to produce all these receipts, Jay, and make you look oh so not pretty. Because mama, Lana does her homework, girl. I got you, though. You wanted to run in an elderly woman into the ground or tried to? I don't like that at all. So I'm going to go ahead and expose the fuck out of you and all your fucking fake ass receipts that you got all these other little channels hyping up your shit. Yeah. They're going to stop real quick when Lana goes ahead and produces Big Daddy receipts. You can call me your daddy again, Jay. Just like I told you 5 years ago.
Who wasn't even in any part of this investigation, was held. And he was the first one to say, you got to leak.
He fought
Thompson, you got to leak.
It's Shannon Gray, right?
Yep. Yes. There's a leak in this office and you need to do something about it. They don't do anything and it leads to a plea deal because we got Dateline on TV blowing the whole case up with all this evidence that's coming out before trial. They should have just listened.
We tried to really follow, but they tried to keep us out of that whole leak investigation because we feel that a lot of the reason why we didn't get a trial and we got a plea deal was because of the Dateline leak.
Remember, this is on 1.25 speed. Okay, so I'm going to try to hike it to 1.5. If we get a little crazy, I'll go back down. Okay. We're going to try. Can you imagine if it was on just one? Like we thought Jay's just moving really slow. Like that was her on 1.25 speed. If I put this at 1, this is Jay. Well, yeah, and can you believe that? She needs to take the gummies that give you the uppies. The uppies, Jay.
I mean, we may be totally wrong, but we're like,
investigation. So
we're like, where are we with this? And they tell us that we're not privy to that information.
Oh my God! Wow.
Even though we were the first to actually bring to their attention in court.
There was an in court where Shannon said there is a leak.
And they said it was the prosecution, and they know it was the prosecution. And his name is Ed Jacobson. That's who the leak is. Ed Jacobson, what did you give to Shane Bishop? I know y'all are tight, and I hope that they sniffed around.
He knew what we had already received, and we were telling him stuff what we had received, and he's like, "Yeah, you guys are getting lied to. Some of the stuff now." And then he's like, "I can't believe you guys knew about the sheep. I can't believe you guys knew about the DNA. Can't believe you knew there was no hit and CODIS." And I was like, "This is."
Wait, what? Hold on one second. Wait, Jay should be like, what? Look at her. She is so stoned.
Small community can't actually bring to their attention.
Breathe out, girl.
Information.
Oh my God! Wow.
Watch.
Even though we were the first.
Can somebody please count the number of times that she says, wow? Oh my God, wow. Someone put a fucking midget stripper in front of her. Oh my God, wow. Wow.
First to actually bring to their attention in court.
There was an in court where Shannon said there is a leak.
And it's because he knew what we had already received. And we were telling him stuff what we had received. And he's like, "Yeah, you guys are getting lied to. Some of the stuff now." And then he's like, "I can't believe you guys knew about the sheep. I can't believe you guys knew about the DNA. Can't believe you knew there was no hit and CODIS." And I was like, "This is small about the sheep. I can't."
Hidden what? Hidden, what's the word Steve is using?
Believe you guys knew about the DNA. Can't believe you knew there was no hit and CODIS. And I was like, "This is small."
Hidden, wait, what is he
You guys knew about the DNA. Can't believe you knew there was no hit and CODIS. And I was like, "This is small community."
Hey, do you understand that I can't make that word out? We know she has no idea what's going on here. She doesn't stop and say, wait, what did you just say? Hidden what? who? Wait, I didn't hear what you said. He doesn't say hidden killers. He doesn't say that. Point is, Jay is just there. Jay's like, Jay, please. And I think he says hits in CODIS, no hits in CODIS. Can you just please fucking move? Let us know that you're alive. God.
The people want to do the best thing. They're trying to make sure. I said, but there's a leak. It's coming out and it's getting back to
And
us.
Shannon stood up in court and said,
to stop.
I think that
was, and guess when that was all? Steve, you know who told you that, Steve. You know what cop said it. You know what little, you know. But guess what? When the cops were to come to you, if they came to you with the leak, you're not going to cough up that information. You're not going to talk because you don't have to talk. So I don't understand why you're making a big deal about something when I know that you're not going to cough up the name. And if they already know that, because they've already tried to attempt to talk to your lawyer in the past and they didn't get anything returned in like an email form, like they can't talk to you. You lawyered up. There is no going and talking to the Goncalves. It's an interviewing you guys. As soon as you lawyer up, they cannot do that by law.
was still under Megan Marshall. Very, very
wow.
Just laughed us off. And here she is, totally wrecking the case in the end.
Well, Bill Thompson got up and he spoke and said that Shannon is blowing things out of proportion.
He's
so
not,
I wish people would hold him accountable.
Those are all
No
records,
shit.
and I've read them 100 times. That's all there. Yes,
He's terrible.
At CrimeCom, some prosecutor stood up for Thompson. I got so angry at this
Yeah.
that she just left. She just
She
walked
just
off.
got up and walked
Someone
out.
stood up for Thompson?
Ingrid. Wait, did he just say Ingrid? Was it Ingrid?
I got so angry at this that she just left.
Oh, I got so angry at this. Yes, he did. He got so angry at a prosecutor. But if she do you understand? She went to CrimeCom and didn't. You guys understand this? She got. I don't know who paid for it because Jay's a cheap ass, and Jay lies about the fact that Ronnie Watts 1,000% paid for our trip to Denver. She told everybody, "I paid for my own trip, bitch. Are you out of your mind? I'll fucking produce the receipts today." She didn't pay for shit. She didn't pay for her hotel room. Let me tell you how petty she is about hotel rooms. She got there first, went to the front desk and said, "Hey, what rooms are the 3 rooms? Like, where are they located?" And then took my room because of where it was located. I need to be right next to Ronnie. And I was like, oh my God, it was a blessing in disguise, you guys. I was like, thank God, because their rooms were right next to each other. And Jay just got high as a fucking kite in that hotel room. I told Ronnie, I said, Ronnie, you have to change your clothes now because we're going to a meet with a lawyer and you cannot be smelling like this. Ronnie didn't smoke weed. This bitch is fucking getting blasted in this fucking Embassy Suites hotel room. And I'm upstairs like 5 floors up and I'm just like, thank God. Then when she told me that she mailed the shit from the hotel, she never changed that my room was now my room. And I was like, you bitch. I said, the hotel rooms were listed a certain way. I said, I didn't mail no shit back here, blah, blah, blah. You think for a second that Jay actually put down the return address that it was her? No, but I have no idea who she did put down. And this little sneaky cunt, okay? I said, you do know that they do stamp shit? And there was cameras all over that hotel room, hotel plaza, whatever. And I said, do never talk to me again. I said, you're lucky I don't call the authorities on you right now. She's fucking sick. She's crazy. But she's dumb. And she's a lying bitch. That's not how you act when you're going to go see lawyers and try to get lawyers involved in something. Just go fly across the country to go commit crimes, you dumb cunt. Who the fuck does that? Oh, she does. Because what does she do? She gets a badge and goes literally across country again. Let's go to Vegas this time from Florida so that you can stalk a woman and follow her around while she is literally playing at a slot machine. You are recording this woman playing slots Tricia playing slots at a slot machine. You are following her around, getting her up and down the escalator. You dumb bitch. For what reason? And the woman looks great. 68, was wearing a cowboy hat. I mean, Jay, what are you doing, girl? You have like VIP passes, or at least the pass to go into all this shit, and you didn't go. You didn't go to anything when you were in CrimeCon. You didn't go and listen to any of these people speak. You didn't go and see any of the presentations. You weren't invited to anything, any of the awesome parties with any of like, other creators, or you went there to stalk somebody. Somebody says, get over it. All you do is bitch. No, all this woman does is harass and bully people. And I'm fucking showing it.
Someone stood up for Thompson?
Yeah.
Wow.
Prosecutors don't want other prosecutors being attacked because they've been in that exact situation where they have to make a decision. And I put myself in their shoes. If I had a very difficult case like this with the world watching, and I could just go to the other side and say, you want to just make a deal? You want to just, this is going to be huge. This is going to be massive. And anything can happen. It's so easy to get a plea deal. And it just robs all the family, and it creates a new wave of killers because the kids never see these people punished. All they see is, they're getting letters written to him. He's got $40,000 on his books. He's on TV. There's a movie about him. This guy was a loser. No girls liked him. Then he kills these people, and then they're sending him panties and love letters. This is why we have this type of mass murder, serial killers, school shooters, because we never stand up to them. And we still have some people now still defending the guy. It's
he's getting sent panties. Jay, you're not asking about that? How he knows any of this? Where he's getting any of this information? You don't care to know any of this? You are so dumb, girl.
They get this notoriety bullshit.
Notoriety for what? Who gives a fuck about Brian Colbert? I care about our rights in the United States of America. Okay, our rights. Yeah, imagine that. Wow.
And I honestly think that judgment needs to be a lot swifter. I mean, somebody should not be on death row for 30 years.
Yeah,
and even in Idaho, we knew he wasn't just going to be killed. We have a man right now on death row, and he's been on death row since the early 80s. And now he's an old ass man. And now their attorneys are just like, he's just an old ass man now. Like, he's like feeble and he's weak. And can we just let him die?
Let him die naturally. Yeah.
He was the one.
Early 80s, still on death row.
Listen, though, who would ever want to live in prison? I think getting killed is the easier way out. Don't you guys think that? Plus, like, I don't know, man. I believe in God, and God brings you in and God takes you out. Okay. And who are we to go? It's kind of like an oxymoron for me. Like, wait, we're just punishing people because they killed. But hey, this whole eye for an eye, but I don't need that on my conscience. Like, yeah, would you feel that way if they killed your kid? Yep, sure would. Because I want that motherfucker to live in isolation for the next 40, 50 years, 10 years. It doesn't matter. Because killing them does not bring my child back. And it will never bring my child back. Ever. But knowing that person has to live in prison for the rest of their life, how could that, what a way to live. I don't know.
Yeah,
it doesn't happen fast.
Yeah, they know if they stop eating and stop drinking fluids, they can put themselves.
They've tried to kill him.
And their veins will collapse.
Lethal injection.
They've tried to lethal inject this guy.
I think twice.
No. It's they've done it like 2 or 3 times in the same day.
They tried 12 times. Thomas Creech, they tried 12 different times.
I remember that one. Yes.
And they can't put him down. And that's why we brought in the firing squad, because we know they've got this protocol now. They share it. These anti-people who don't believe in the death penalty will go to these people, write them a letter and say, hey, get off the salts. Do this, and guess what? They won't be able to get a vein inside you. They will just fall.
But I'm sorry, even being the early 80s.
Wait, what? You think people are writing people in prison, telling them to do this? Hey, get off the salts. They're not going to be able to find a vein. They're not going to be able to kill you. I mean, you guys, they check the mail. I'm a receipts. You either got receipts or you don't. But where are you getting this stuff from, man? Just give me the receipts. I will I will be happy to tell anybody's story. You're going to have to provide me with the receipts. Or when I hear something, then I'm like, I'm going to go get the receipts that they're not providing that either prove what they're saying or disprove what they're saying, because I become so like enamored with the claims, because I'm just like, is it just me? But do you hear like these assertions, like what they're claiming? Like, if this truly exists here, or if it doesn't, and they're just saying this, like, wow. But, and I'm just using this as an example, but this would be with like anything. I'm going to do my homework. I'm going to go get the material, or I'm going to attempt to try to get the material. And then I'm going to get some response record saying those records do not exist because it's just not there. But I'm over here just like, what the fuck? Like, Brian's getting panties. People are sending Brian their panties. Brian has $40,000 on his books. I think he has more than that. But does anybody know why he has $40,000 on his books? Do you actually know where that money came from?
And I believe he's the one here in Idaho that also has killed somebody in prison. If I'm not mistaken, there is somebody on death row that also killed somebody in prison. But I think it's this guy. And
another person got life sentence and then escaped during COVID and then went and killed multiple people as well. So we're not better off with these people sitting on death row. You're lying to yourself.
Yeah, it needs to
let them kill each other, though. If these animals want to kill each other, I mean, what do you mean? I don't know. I think it's probably pretty dangerous to work at these fucking prisons. Like, how are these people killing people that are on death row and they're in isolation? Like, they're not with other people. Like, see, that interests me. Like, I want to know how that was possible. You know, me and Bella went down a couple weeks ago because we had to start the process because we want to go to the Marysville prison where Sharilla is. Okay, so we're getting approved so that we can do interviews with other inmates and potentially her. But you have to go through a process to do this. And it's right down the road. And when I say right down the road, 30, 40 minutes. 30, 40 minutes, easy drive. And I'll tell you something. When we were there, the one day, we've been there a couple times. They got the nicest freaking people that are these inmates who were cleaning the areas when you have to go in. And I'm over here saying, like, you know, I was like, oh my God, that lady was so nice. You see her cleaning. She asked us if we needed anything. I was like, you know, she was like one of the inmates. And I'm over here talking about an inmate being nice, right? And I'm like, man, I wonder what the fuck she was in there for. And then you see, because it's just right in front of you, 3 people got discharged. Like, they were done with their sentence while we were there. And 2 of the people had like a bunch of family there. And this other person had nobody. And I'm over here like wondering, like, what do they go and do? Like, how, like, where do they go? What's happening? Like, how can that person just walk out into the world and you're in the middle of nowhere? And here's me like, man, do you think we should ask her if she needs a ride somewhere? No, Lana, we should not be doing that. I'm like, well, maybe we could just give her like $100 or something. Like, here, like, we'll call you an Uber and like, where are you going? If they don't have any family, like, you wonder why the recidivation is so high. The recidivation rate is so high. Is like, what are these people going to do? And so I've always been interested in the correctional part of our justice system, because if I just believe that there's a way that you should be able to make some money when you are in prison so that when you're out, you have something there. You know what I mean? Because how do you expect people to go and do whatever? And I don't think they should ever just be getting out and just whatever. Like, there should be a system. There should be a process that, whether you're like I would call it like an outpatient program or an inpatient program where you go out and you get to like work and then you're done and you go and you're, you know, back in prison for the night. But you do that so that you can like build up this money, right? That would sit into an account. So when you're out, you still have that job, and we have a nice little apartment here for you that you can like move into. It just like, you have to have a system like that in place. Otherwise, what do you expect people to do? Like, how do you, anyways, see, that's just when I just like think that we can always just help everybody.
And I get it. There's appeals, but what's the holdup? Why is it taking,
Yeah,
why
they
do
could go
these
to
appeals
college.
take so long?
I almost
You know?
feel like they use the death penalty a lot of times as a bargaining tool. Not really like they intend to use it,
They do.
but they just throw it out there
Because
just
we
as a bargain.
prosecutors have something to hold over you because they don't want to do the work. And if you could tell a person, just make a plea deal and your job's the same, you get the same amount of pay.
It's a win. It looks like a win for the
You tell your
prosecution.
community you did the best thing, you saved everybody money. Well, no, not if that guy leads and inspires another generation of killers, and people have already been inspired by BK. So
Yeah,
here you go
I don't think
again.
he had any accountability that he should have had. I feel like well, let me ask you this: if sentencing would have went differently, where he had to speak, do you think that you'd feel differently about the
Yeah,
sentencing?
we could
if
have,
you
right, have say so on, okay, well, don't just be a complete layover lapdog. If you're going to go, because we have to respect the other families. And if we lost and there's 3 other families that want that, we're the only one against it. We made that decision by not pulling Kaylee out that we'd go with the majority. So there we are. And he doesn't have a majority, but at least you can let.
Okay. Steve, I have to ask you this question. How would you have a say that you're going to pull Kaylee out and not be prosecuted by this through the state process and say, nope, I do not want Kaylee's killing prosecuted. I want her stalking prosecuted federally. Like, I'm sorry, but do you guys know how the justice system works? Like, that is not, you don't have that say. So I want to understand, because maybe I'm wrong here, but how would you have a say in that? I don't understand. You know, how could you pull Kaylee out and not be and not have her be part of this? We're going forward with the 4 quadruple homicides and blah, blah, blah. We don't want you to do that. We're pulling Kaylee out and we want the feds to deal with Kaylee. What? I need you to explain how that works. I need you to explain how the family can make that happen. That's what I want to know.
Leverage. Tell us where the knife is. Tell us
Yes.
where this kill kit is.
Where
Tell
did
us
it start? When was the beginning of the end for our kids?
He could have said things. He could have said, describe what happened to Kaylee. And then there could have been, nobody could have, I mean, there still would have been some
like things that nobody else knew but him.
Yes.
Prove it, and that would have shut down a lot of the naysayers, right?
A ton.
They would have said somebody
And
else
we're
was with
living
him.
through this.
Oh, I hate.
Let me ask you this, Jay. What do you think only Brian would know? Because that's the whole saying, like, tell me something that only the killer would know. Right? Which would be something like where one of the weapons were. How about what was the other weapons that were used? Okay. What could you think of here? The clothes. Where are those clothes? That were all probably fucking doused in blood, right? But let's be real. Do you think that he knows where those were if they were discarded? And depending on how they were discarded? I mean, he could say what, do you remember the day that you did this? What time you did this? Can we prove it with your cell phone? And this is where you went and this is the area. Did you bury these clothes so we can go? Truly, what is out there that you could to be able to link it up with? And there's only so many things that you could potentially say for that. And to me, it would be, I would need a weapon, right, with DNA on it, right, or clothing with DNA on it.
Wow. And yes, it would have helped because we did know that he would probably, we wanted him on death row just because of the lifestyle. But we did know he was going to sit there forever. And it was very likely that he died naturally before he actually got the firing squad. So
I remember your t-shirts, man. You guys were ready. You were ready to.
Yeah, we got law. We worked with legislators to get laws passed because once. What happens when a crime like this happens and you do get an outspoken family? Other people, legislators included, say this might be the face that we need to get that law that nobody wants to.
The firing squad in our case.
We've been trying to get somebody to pick this up and do something. Now we got somebody.
So did you guys have something to do with that being?
Steve worked with one of the legislators. Yeah. It was already in the works. It was already in the works. So he didn't, and
but you were like, I back this. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. And then Olivia went on and changed the law too, that once we realized that some of the things we thought were going to be protected weren't.
Yeah.
Then we're like, this another family shouldn't have to go through this. Let's spearhead this.
The
Make sure
crime
this
scene
doesn't
photos.
happen. Now we can't get Thompson to just do some basic redactions of things that are not even related. Some of the things that came out about these victims was just disgusting, and it was just shows laziness to me. Because Ann did them. His Amazon, she protected his IP address, and I guarantee you that IP address will never go back to that house.
So Koberger's IP address in his Amazon account was redacted?
But she's charging $200 per hour. She made $2 million on this case. Old Thompson boy, old lazy grandpa taking nap times, he is on a salary. So he doesn't want to go and redact because that means he has to wake up out of nap time and go and do some
And
work.
put some effort in, yeah.
So we don't
Wow.
get the effort, but she does because she's financially incentivized.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think is she getting paid more than $200 an hour? What he's talking about there is these documents that we've been waiting for, right? Basically all the fuck ups. Because if this is what Steve is basically insinuating, and I just can't believe that Jay just keeps saying, wow. Like, wow. Jay has no clue what's going on. Wow. Okay, hot damn, wow. What he's basically insinuating is that Thompson and Ann Taylor, that they need to redact these items themselves, okay, and then send them to the clerk of courts based off of what Judge Hippler's order was, okay, and then they're going through them to check them, judicial review, okay, to say, okay, yep, went through all this and everything looks like it's good to go, so that we can then upload it online, and then that's when we get our doc drops, and we all over here like, oh, there's new doc drops, and we go over them. So let me get this straight. I'm going to call Ada County next week because this is very important. I'm going to call in the middle of the week, and I want to ask them if that's how this is happening. Okay. If the redactions are being done, because then I have an issue here coming up. If the redactions are being done per side, per whatever the side of if it's your document, you're redacting that, okay? And then if it's one that you filed on this side, the state, you're redacting that. And then, you're submitting those. Because if that's accurate, is that why this is taking so long? Is that what we're waiting on here? Because in the order, it doesn't say. In the order, it doesn't. I personally believe that Ada County is doing the redacting, or just uploading it if it doesn't need the redactions, whatever, or if it's completely sealed, then it's out. Because this makes absolutely no sense. But that's what he's basically insinuating, is that Ann Taylor and her team have to do their redactions, and that Bill Thompson has to do his redactions for his documents. And that's why he's been sleeping at the wheel, and stuff that we've been able to see is because Ann Taylor has been so good about protecting her client and not being lazy with the redactions. And here's Bill Thompson missing things left and right. So we will go ahead and give Ada County a call next week. And we're going to get that answer like, you know what, fuck it, we'll get it on Monday. I think that's a really important question that needs to be answered based off of this, because and then Ann Taylor just gets to submit a bill and say how long that took her. Like, no way. Why would I ever be paying for something at $200 an hour when I can have a clerk do it for 30 or 40? Like, let's all use our brains here. That's got to be like Idaho, I think, deserves to know that their tax dollars would be going to that, and that's how they're choosing to have these redactions being done. And do you think Ann Taylor would be doing that, or do you think that one of her paralegals would be doing it? Like, again, let's be honest. Again, I'm a detail-oriented fucking person, and that shit's not getting past me. And the systems that they put in place, they're jokes.
So, it's going
to... And here's Jay, though. Biggest joke of them all.
Take her years to do all her redactions, and she's still getting paid.
So there's still stuff that she's redacting to this
Every
day.
single thing that comes out that makes Brian look guilty that she can.
Jay has no clue. She's like, she's still redacting to this day. Jay has no idea how this is working. I cannot believe that the Goncalveses like literally went to her. Like, dude, your daughter and the rest of these victims deserve way better. Man, you can't go and do interviews with people that have no fucking clue what's going on and that are high as a kite when they're talking to you and that spit on Otham's signs and that drag Otham's business partner through the fucking mud. This is crazy. This is embarrassing. This is sick. There ain't no fucking, like, dude, come on, man. This girl's fucking clueless as all.
She's going to.
Anything, any little,
And they don't
any
even
little
understand
thing.
what IP addresses are. Those guys don't know anything about IT. I'm looking at these docs and they should have redacted some things. And then the things that they do redact, it doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, your IP is temporary. It's DHCP. He had that like 3 years ago. He would never get that exact
And what
same
does that
address
even?
again.
What does that even help him?
What's that going to identify at this point if someone has it, right? They're stupid. That's stupid.
Well, they think they could hack his PC. They could like go through the ISP. Really ridiculous thoughts. But
I don't understand that stuff. So
I don't really either.
Neither do they. And that's my point.
Right.
My point.
Well, Steve, you made an interesting.
Exactly. I'm good friends with Bill Thompson. I love it. You guys, Ann Taylor's not redacting these to make Brian Cover look guilty. That's insane. I can't believe he's saying that. Like, he knows better than that. Come on, Bill. Like, what the fuck? No, the courts are telling you what you can't, what you are to redact. You can't redact anything more. And guess who checks off on it? That's why I'm trying to tell you guys that this is not true. Okay, because we already talked to Ada County because we were wondering where all the fucking docs and they were released a long time ago. Like, what's taking so long? And then we got that huge ass dump on May 31st or May 29th, whatever the date was. And they said more are coming. And that one that we were waiting on is over 1,000 pages long. It's like 1,100 and something. And that's the big Frank's daddy. That's what Mama Bear wants. Give me that Frank's, baby. Jay's like, Frank's? Who's cooking hot dogs? What? Jay, girl, remember, it's just so easy, girl. Okay.
Point early on about a Bluetooth.
Where do you guys think that she got that Little John okay from? What? That was all me. Just so you know, she stole that. That was all me back in the day before I ever had a YouTube channel. She's just not original. She blows.
Or something at the house that you said it had touched.
There's other technologies on these phones that I was researching with some people that are well more versed in this type of. I'm a server guy, but anyway, there's a Find Me feature on Android and on Apple, and this Find Me technology works even when the phone's turned off. It'll give out pulses, and there was some. I hope to see some information coming out in those case files that pinpoints that down better, because
there's a Bluetooth speaker.
Well, not just the speaker. Those were examples that I gave that. There's I wanted to read about everything. I want chicks that can happen on these Bluetooth. So he could have been sitting in the backyard and he could have linked up with them. I didn't think that's what was happening, but I wanted Ann to be scared.
I wanted Ann to be scared. I wanted Ann to be scared. What?
Shitless that her boy. It wasn't telling her everything, and they were going to drop things, and she was scared they were going to drop things. If you go read the way she was saying, we want to know what these expert witnesses are going to say. She knew that there was some transactions that were going on his phone that she was not prepared for, and she was trying to get ahead of those. And I was helping in the best way that I could by saying there is some information out there that's going to be, these are going to be like checkmate moments in the case, and that's when they needed to come out.
So Steve, you're over here admitting that you were taunting the defense team with privy information during a gag order? I mean, I can't even believe what I'm listening to right now. You guys understand what he just said? Because Steve should know what's in the phones, right? Steve didn't know what was in the phones. He couldn't talk to anybody. The only person that knew that was the Barnharts, and they couldn't talk to anybody, right? I can't believe this. I'm going to replay it for you guys. I'm just shocked.
I know what these expert witnesses think. I was.
There's a Bluetooth speaker.
Well, that not just the speaker. Those were examples that I gave that there's. We're
That
about
if-
I wanted
it,
Ann
like-
to be worried about everything. I was
Right.
playing chess. I was like, hey, there's handshakes that can happen on these Bluetooth. So he could have been sitting in the backyard and he could have linked up with them. I didn't think that's what was happening, but I wanted Ann to be scared shitless that her boy it wasn't telling her everything and they were going to drop things. And she was scared because her boy it wasn't telling her everything and they were going to drop things. And she was scared they were going to drop things. If you go read the way she was saying, we want to know what these expert witnesses are going to say. She knew that there was.
Steve, they need to know what the expert opinions are so they can go and give them to other experts to say, hey, is this, would you have the same opinion of this? Like, this is what this person is saying, blah, blah. Also, there is a deadline. It is part of the criminal justice system. So what he is saying here right now is total BS. Okay. The criminal justice system works like this. There is an expert disclosure deadline, and it first hits upon the prosecution first. Because why? It's the burden. The burden is on the prosecutors. So here, they need to go get their experts. What are your expert witnesses saying based off of the data? Ann Taylor already had the fucking data. So there was no surprises. Here, you have to disclose your experts to us, the defendants. And then we then look them over and then we provide them to our experts because based off of what they're going to say, it's like, do you agree with this? Do you have a different opinion of this? And then we have to disclose our experts. Prosecution goes first, defense goes second. Ann Taylor saying, here, your expert disclosures aren't expert disclosures. Like, these don't make it. These aren't expert disclosures. Some of them aren't, to sit here and say, I'm going to testify to 7 devices. That's not an expert disclosure. Mowry going to be testifying to 7 devices amongst the victims and their roommates. What the fuck does that mean? What is your expert opinion about something that you're going to testify to in the capacity of something that device is doing, something that device shows through Cellbrite, something that, like, what? So, but it always starts, the burden is on the prosecution with everything in a case, and it's on them to disclose theirs first. So when Ann Taylor is saying, listen, we're not going to disclose our expert opinions first, like, for whatever reason they think that this is like a new rules that they've never known before, they have the burden, they have the deadline. And if you're going to allow them to disclose stuff way later, then we're going to sit here and wait because we're not going to play our hand. So they then can go say, oh, hey, this is what their defense experts are saying, like they had been doing in this case. I'm just absolutely just like, listen, I'm not going to sit ever be gaslit. I'm going to stand my ground. I can totally disagree with somebody, but we're still be respectful of them. So if I was to ever talk to Kristi and Steve, like live at an interview, it's not like I would ever be like, what the fuck, motherfuckers? I would just be saying, hang on a second. We're going to break this down. Why do you think this? What do you mean you thought that you were taunting Ann Taylor? You think that she was watching you? We've gone through all of the police reports, not the FBI ones, but all the police reports. There was not a single police report like saying anything that you're saying right here, that anybody did any work to go through anything that you're saying. In fact, it was Ann Taylor saying these people needed to disclose stuff. And now we're finally getting to see what Ann Taylor was talking about. And it was laughable what the prosecution was trying to get past as rules of evidence for expert disclosures that do not meet. Like, this is basically, in case you guys don't know this, you cannot have a new finding or an opinion pop up at trial that you did not disclose prior. There is no surprise, oh, this is now my fucking opinion, like they kind of did in the Delphi case. You can't do that shit. If you don't disclose an opinion, that's fine, but you won't be mentioning it at trial. And that's why you have to be on it when you're a defense attorney, and really, to be honest, either side, because if you're going to go into a territory that was never disclosed and question somebody on that, you're going to object and you're going to say, sidebar, Your Honor, this was never disclosed. Here's the disclosure. Here's the report. These people never said anything about any of this. This expert up here. They've never disclosed this opinion. They're not going to be testifying to it. I object, and I'm going to object on the record. I'm going to keep objecting to every single question that is asked about any of this shit. This opinion was never disclosed. Oh, you're right, Mr. Oriani. Yep. I'm going to be sustaining that, move on. Or they can say, well, nope, Hitler is probably going to be like, well, overruled. Okay. So, but that's why you have rules in cases. And I thought at the end of the day, people think this is a game. Dude, aren't we all trying to get it right? I don't want an innocent person to go to prison. I definitely don't want somebody that didn't do it or that did do it to be free. So, since when did this become a game? It's wrong. It's wrong when you start thinking like that.
Some transactions that were going on his phone that she was not prepared for, and she was trying to get ahead of those. And I was helping in the best way that I could by saying there is some information out there that's going to be, these are going to be like,
and then you would ask here, Jay, how would that be helping? I don't understand. How is you going out to the media and to tell that to Banfield or to tell that to Nancy Grace? How would that be helping? Don't you think that this would only be hurting there ever being a trial? Because aren't you putting out, you're being part of the leak, but you're not ever going to get in trouble for it because you weren't part of the gag order, but you're definitely putting out information that you have no business that you should even know about. Or are you going to be sitting here now with my questioning saying, well, yeah, Lana, duh. Nobody ever told me that stuff. I was just bluffing. I was just saying this shit. Okay. Because you felt the need that you needed to do that. For what purpose again? Because you felt it was helping? Helping who? Helping what? Well, because I was trying to throw Ann Taylor off her game. Oh, okay. Well, Ann Taylor is the big winner here. If you guys want to talk about scores, Ann Taylor just got Brian Kohlberger out of a fucking death row. Yeah. That's the only winner here is Ann Taylor. Hate to say it. But if that's how you guys want to think about it, Bill Thompson took the big fucking L up the ass. And Ann Taylor saved her client's life like she's supposed to. And there was a pretty big ruling yesterday with SCOTUS. Hunter versus United States. And that basically, if Brian Kohlberger wants to go to trial, he's going to be able to go to trial. So if y'all want to talk about wins and losses, which I don't like to do that. I don't think this should be a game. I don't think anybody that gets killed, it's a game. I don't think that anybody that's standing trial for that person getting killed, that it's a game. I think it's sick. I think that the truth matters and that the rules matter. And that we are all entitled to due process. And nobody is above the law. And fuck these judges. It's like watching a sporting event. And when the referee interferes way too much, it's like, let them play the game.
Checkmate moments in the case. And that's when they needed to come out, not tell her so then she can plead out. I wanted him dead. I wanted him dead. So that's when you drop the hammer on him. So yeah, I understand the law's got their own, you got discovery, you got to give out everything. And
I thought
you pay for expert witnesses. When did we allow paying for witnesses? That sounds the dirtiest I've ever heard. Like you can get anybody to say anything if you're going to give them enough money.
Yeah. And it's just like counterpoint.
And that's the same thing for the state, though. The state pays for their witnesses, too. You want to know why? Because it's a job. Because you're supposed to be ethical. People should get paid for their work. But the question should never be able to be asked, are you getting paid for your testimony here today? That question should be forbidden in any courtroom because it's laughable. Every single fucking person in that courtroom is getting paid. Even the juror. They're getting fed and they are getting paid. The judge is getting paid. Both attorneys are getting paid. The bailiff is getting paid. But I think that question of, are you getting paid, should not be able to be asked in a courtroom anymore. I would object to it. Objection, Your Honor. Relevancy. What the fuck is the relevance of somebody getting paid when they're supposed to get paid? Because that's what they are. They are a professional who you hire to do a job. Did you get your deck built yesterday? Yep. Did you pay for it? Yeah. Why? Why the fuck would you pay for that? Well, because I got an expert to do it. You know, if I do it myself, it's going to look like shit. So I went out and bought, paid for somebody. And so it's like, yeah, you pay for it, right? I don't think that question should be able to be asked anymore in a courtroom. I think it's laughable.
No point, counterpoint.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
Versus expert.
Mm-hmm.
How about you just volunteer and then you really get an expert who really cares? And
I thought that there were some sort of pings showing that his phone at
it's like a call. I don't know. It's a beacon
trying to connect.
But it basically ricochets off various devices and can say, hey, this is where I was last. I'm going to say beacon. This is the last location that I've known. And then every 30 minutes, I believe the Android will pull.
I think it's funny to hear Steve say something that somebody should be an expert and be a volunteer. Do you know how much time goes into being an expert in a fucking murder trial? Fucking any trial that when you're asked her to be doing that for whatever. Because it's not about the testimony time. You're not just on the stand testifying for 13 minutes. Do you know how much time goes into, you have to get all these reports and you got to read through them all. And then we're talking hours, weeks, months. I just can't even believe what I'm fucking hearing. Like, what the hell is going? What are we listening to? But here's Jay. Like, Jay's just sitting there, and I would be like, wait, what do you mean volunteer experts? This isn't just 15 minutes testifying on the stand. I just don't understand this. I just don't understand that Jay just doesn't give a fuck about anything in life. She's like, there's that. Excuse my ass again, guys. I'm farting. Sorry.
And say, hey, I'm here. I'm here. So then you could say, oh, I've left it at the bus stop. And the bus stop, that's where my phone is. And you go in there, look around the field that you were playing in, and boom, you find your phone.
So, I just always wondered about that, if there was devices that maybe, because I thought I heard something about the Mad Greek, that their Wi-Fi had he didn't connect to it, but it was, like when you pull up and it gives you like different networks to connect to, that may have been one of them, that he was close enough where it was.
Nope, it didn't happen like that. Sorry. And this is why people shouldn't talk.
It was on his phone.
Yes, it was. And that is
not, but it's not. That's not true. That's not true at all. That's not the description of it. If you want to know exactly how that actually worked, which the Mad Greek is, he never connected to the Mad Greek. Okay. It was a passing by, meaning if you're driving around, your phone, anytime that you do this, go out of your driveway, pull out, you're going to go off of your Wi-Fi. You guys know that every time that you drive around, you leave that little button on that says Wi-Fi. Do you know how many connections? This is why you're not supposed to do this. Do you know how many connections you will make between the time of that you leave your house until you go and get onto I just need to go get gas? Anybody that has Wi-Fi, it'll keep popping up all the things that are available. And that goes and triggers into your phone as a secondary, they call it like I don't want to say the wrong word, but it's not this person ever got on their Wi-Fi. It's not that they were looking and like, okay, here, let me pick one of these. So the way that needs to be answered is no, he was never on any Wi-Fis. And if you really want to know how that all works, you should talk to the Barnharts, because it's really touchy and specific on what they were going to testify and if they were going to even be allowed to testify to that. Because the other thing is that everything that the Barnharts have come out and said, do you know how much shit is inadmissible? A fucking ton. And they know it, because you can't speculate. An expert has to give an expert opinion based on methodology, based on to a scientific degree of certainty. Okay. And you can't just go, experts get to give an expert opinion about the data, about what they're obviously looking at here. But you cannot just speculate to say, because I would get him every time with this. You're saying that somebody cleaned up this phone forensically and like you have all this stuff scattered. Sometimes you have like you have sometimes the phone's powering down, then you don't have another power down until this, but you've already said this phone was forensically, what you're saying is cleaned up in some type of way. So then isn't all of this really truly inconclusive because you don't have all the data? And when you don't have all the data, then how are you going to be talking about a pattern of life when you don't have the data? Like, how could I ever testify to a pattern of anything? If it's like, think about if I gave you guys my calendar out of my phone for a year, and then you realize, holy shit, 7 months out of the year are missing, just completely gone. And then the other months, you know, you'll have like the 1st, and then you'll have the 8th, the 10th, the 14th, 15th, maybe like the 20th, you know, a couple of, and they're just random scattered days. That's what you just have over the next, you know, 5 other months. But 8 of them for sure, they're completely gone. Now I want you to go ahead and see that you can honestly get up on a stand and tell me what Lana's pattern of life is. Hey, during the week, she's a 9-to-5 worker. She works at this place. She's always leaving at 8 o'clock in the morning, and because she's hitting off of this, and she gets a cup of coffee, then she's home. This is like clockwork for her. And here on the day of the murder, Lana, who normally gets up and is out of the house at 8, right? Well, here, Lana left at 5 a.m. And then she went back home. Okay, and then she didn't leave until 10. And then she didn't get back home until 10 o'clock at night. Now, that would be something where you're like, that is totally out of the norm for Lana on a day during the week. You can't say that unless you don't have at least 180 days in all of the in all the data there with nothing missing. And so that's my question to the Barnharts is, how are you going to testify to anything about a pattern of life for Brian if what you claim is that there was hardly anything there? I just don't know how you would be doing that. And I think that they would agree.
That is in the Cellbrite records that he did not. Yeah, it was.
But they won't say he was there in the restaurant at all. Like we don't know, or he wasn't.
We don't know.
We don't know.
When you get something like that, it can be argued, well, I just walked past it.
Mm-hmm.
Or I was in line waiting at the movie theater. I linked up with the movie theater Wi-Fi, and then I changed my mind and walked out. So if you don't have a video saying he was there, you can't say he was actually there because the Wi-Fi signal goes out as far. So then they're going to argue, well, he could have been out in the street, parked in his car.
Yeah.
You know,
But
so
it still puts him close enough to
just like
more
you
than
made
we
an
knew.
account 23 times.
And guess what, though? When somebody gets on a stand and explains exactly what I just did there, then when you get in the car and you drive to go to the gas station, all those houses that you just passed and they all have Wi-Fi, you're going to have that secondary option to connect if your Wi-Fi's on. But guess what? I thought he didn't have his Wi-Fi on. I thought he shut down his Wi-Fi capabilities because you can go ahead and you can do that and shut off your internet. I thought that he did that a couple days before the murder. Remember? Fuck Jay. She's an idiot. She's such a moron. This broad. Well, like I said, I could do this all night, but I want to go and have a cup of tea. But I do want to hear Jay's final remarks. I'll do the other half another time. But I want everybody to know why I did this, why I covered this. Because this is a very important part. Jay is for Justice has another channel called Every Day with Jay. The Goncalveses are business partners with Othram. Othram is business partners with Web Sleuths, who it is run by Tricia. Tricia has been running that for years. Okay, years. She has a website. She has her YouTube channel. And what Jay did and began to do months ago, is on her Everyday with Jay channel, she chose to drag this woman, Tricia, because Tricia exercised her First Amendment right to have Lauren Matthias on her fucking channel. Who gives a fuck? Who cares? Well, Jay cared. Jay cared so much, didn't know Tricia from Adam, but has been dragging Tricia, who's 60-some years old, dragging her, saying all this false shit, saying that Tricia murdered her best friend, so that she could collect all this, I don't know, estate shit. Okay. And here, while she's been dragging the Goncalves' business partner, Tricia, the Goncalves and their PR team didn't know that Jay for Justice is what Every Day with Jay. You guys did not know this. And you guys went and graced this woman on a shitty ass platform, and only 2,000 people saw this so far. Like, how does that happen? This girl does not cover true crime. She hasn't covered it in forever. She is not hardly active at all with her Jay is for Justice channel. She literally covers drama 24/7 now on this everyday channel with Jay. And I wanted the world to know that I respect the Goncalves that much, that I want people to see this interview, and they're not going to see it on her shitty ass platform because nobody fucking watches that shit. And I want the Goncalves to know that the person that you interviewed with doesn't know shit, doesn't care about shit, and literally is only digging in for information so that she can fucking continue to jag Tricia. And if you believe anything other than that, well, you guys are a bunch of fools. And I personally will make sure that the email is out from me stating my opinion on this. So, for the record here, Every Day with Jay, it says, pull up a chair. This gets wild. It is, you should have known the AI photo excuse, whatever, blah, blah. It's an episode about Tricia 2 weeks ago. 5.9K views. 5.9K, so like 6,000, right? She had the Goncalves on for an hour and 45 minutes live. And in a 24-hour period, do you know how many views I would have had on that? Do you know how many views anybody else would have had on that? A shit ton. Jay couldn't get it over 2,000. That's because there is nothing to gain from an interview with Jay on a subject matter that she knows nothing about. And she literally farted the whole time. So I do not believe that Tricia should be dragged by this woman off of lies. And I do not believe that somebody should claim to be part of the true crime community and go to CrimeCon and use it as a stalking fucking gathering so that she could stalk this woman, Tricia, so that she could have her little fucking followers spitting on Othram's sign and video recording it. And then here, the poor Goncalves know nothing about it because their PR person sucks and put them in the situation. But I'm here to make sure that this never happens again. So please let me know, Kristi. I will tell you who covers your case and who doesn't, and who's even just going to know stuff about it. And that if you guys are going to talk, because it's so valuable when you do talk, I want people to hear what you have to say. No one's going to hear this shit on that channel. And she doesn't give a fuck about anybody but herself. So here's Jay.
Times and them saying, I don't care.
Here's Jay's final word.
Then Kaylee Goncalves.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. So they leave.
Well, guys, that was amazing. Hold on.
That was amazing. I'm surprised she didn't say wow.
And let me fix my screen. Thank you for being here. Wow.
Fucking, we're gonna have a drinking game. Fuck this, man. Wow. Okay, hold on.
Whew. Oh, I forgot to say Happy Father's Day to Steve.
Yeah, you did.
Olivia kicked ass. Yes. Thank you guys. I want to go through your super chats and thank you guys real quick. Frida became a member. Thank you, Frida. Shell super chatted. Cal super chatted. Thank you. Penny gifted 5. Dave the Sinner became a member. Wayne said, legacy of a beautiful woman, Kaylee Goncalves, and may we remember the others who left us too soon. Rest in peace with love. Madison Mogan, Xander Kernodal, and Ethan Chapin. Foundation was an honor to contribute. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Flo. So there's a reoccurring thing. Cal says, I have joined the Remembrance Circle for Steve and Kristi tonight. Let's see. close this out. Thank you guys so much. I will sing. Hi, Berlin. They're an amazing example of giving back after experiencing such an unfathomable thing. For sure. For sure. Thank you, Vinay. Thanks, Cal. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Thank you guys so much. I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is what? Thursday. I can think of today's Thursday for some reason. Kaylee has outspoken parents and a sister are feisty and will stand up to Ellie. We need to be more like them. Amen. Can we get a round of applause for Steve and Kristi tonight? Let's see.
She has no insight to say anything about what she just listened to for an hour and 45 minutes.
They do have cute merch. Check it out. It's your birthday tomorrow, Ishi. Happy birthday, baby. I don't have my
Okay, wow.
sound bites, but happy birthday.
Oh, you want to know why you probably don't have your sound bites? Because you're on your fucking, your true crime channel.
Oh, that's on the TV. I heard a dog whining. I'm like, what is that?
No, that's just your ass.
I don't have my sound bites, but happy birthday.
Can someone clip that for me? No, that's just your ass, Jay.
Oh, that's on the TV. I heard a dog whining. I'm like, what is that?
Thank you, guys.
Let's see what we got here. We don't have our birthday celebration, but happy birthday to Ishi. I love you, girl. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end this. Thank you guys so much. Take care of each other and yourselves and hit the
like Jerry Springer said. Make sure your pets, or what was that, Bob Barker? Make sure your pets are spayed and neutered, right?
like button and all those things. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks for the 200 people that were watching. Thank you,
guys.
Okay, that was so amazing. So fucking amazing. Make sure you guys subscribe to J is for Justice. What's the 411 with Jay? Is that even around anymore? Nope. It's called like Every Day with Jay. But whatever. Let's just promote a channel that doesn't exist anymore. With that said, guys, again, I just want to go to my super chats and I'm just going to make them up. A hundo says J is for Jowls. I would love to sit and spin on those titties. Thank you so much. Cheers. Next, Jerry Springer sent in $20 and said, take care of yourselves and each other is an iconic, empathetic sign-off phrase from, and it was family used by television host Jerry Springer. That bitch steals everything. Well, thank you, thank you, Jerry. Thank you for letting us know. $5 from Turtle Boy. I am so cheap. I only sent you $5. Okay, well, thank you so much, Turtle Boy. Next is, wow, The Glare. Hey ho. Hey. All right, thank you for the $5. Oh, there's another one. Oh, let me throw my hot dog down your hallway. Okay, thank you. Next. Oh, J is for Justice. Sends a hundo. Thanks for doing what I can never do. Okay. Wow. Thanks, Jay. Guys, not every night. You just, if you guys remember back in the day, I'm going to close this out with a little song. And it is my thank you notes. My thank you notes. Do you guys recall those thank you notes? You're like, oh my God, Lana's doing her thank yous? No way. Well, Lana is. My thank you notes.
And that's usually,
let's see.
It's the end of the week, and that's usually when I catch up with some personal stuff. I check my inbox, I return some emails. And of course I send out.
Okay. I got to send out my thank yous too. Hold on. Where's my thank you notes? Where are my thank you notes? Where are my fucking thank you notes? Well, I don't know where my thank you notes are. I thought I had it saved. Oh, yeah, here they are. Okay, perfect. Yeah, this will work.
It is the end of the week. Thank you, Wedding Registries, for being a convenient way to show your dearest friends how much you care after clicking on the bottom button that says organized from least to most expensive.
All right, guys. I love you. Have a great night. See you on the next one. Peace out. Oh.